If the world hates you, just remember that it has hated me first. If you belong to the world, then the world would love you as its own. But I chose you from this world, and you do not belong to it. That is why the world hates you. Whoever hates me, hates my Father also. They would not have been guilty of sin if I had not done among them the things that no one else has done. As it is, they have seen what I did, and they hate both me and my Father. They hated me for no reason at all.
Yo, we're here live in the flesh chat. What is good? Good morning to everyone in the US. Good afternoon to those of you who are not in the US. And good night to everyone who is in the East. God bless everyone for being here live in the flesh. We've got that One Peak 1153 predictions, theories, hot takes, questions, concerns. Guys, we're doing another open mic stream, okay? So anyone that wishes to talk to me live on stream, you guys are more than welcome to. We have the StreamYard link pinned at the top of the stream chat, okay? So if anyone wants to get into the call, it's at the top of the stream chat, okay? It's pinned. God bless everyone here. RBBP, God bless, brother. Ra, God bless. I got the mop top haircut. What's good, Eli? Can we spend the stream talking about what Luffy would do to Israel? Oh, yeah, that's going to be my third strike right there. Smokey, God bless, bro. Is it just me or does this particular break week feel long? Yeah, it does feel long. Hey, Smokey, God bless, bro. How we doing, chat? I hope we're all doing great. Hope everyone's having a nice morning, day, or night. Wherever you guys are, I'm excited to talk about whatever's going on. I know there's a lot of Twitter drama right now. There's actually a huge war on Twitter that I saw. And apparently what's going on the One Piece Twitter right now is Zoro fans and Sanji fans are beefing because Sanji fans are getting called pedo supporters, right? Because of Sanji's behavior. So now all the Sanji fans on Twitter are attacking Zoro and attacking Zoro fans, trying to say that Zoro is a pedo. And that's an actual thing going on Twitter right now. Like they got the dude from Berserk. If you guys know, like the black guy from Berserk, they gave him Zoro's earrings and Zoro's bandana. And they're trying to push this agenda that Zoro's a pedo. Because like they also use like this one screenshot from the anime where it's Zoro, then it's Tama, then it's Luffy. And like Zoro is like, he looks angry and he's like side-eyeing Tama. And they're trying to say that Zoro is a pedophile. So, of course, we have, I almost said a naughty word. Of course, we have not the brightest arguments and agendas coming from the Sanji fans. But I mean, is anyone really surprised? But with that being said, chat, let's get into the stream, okay? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Oh, my Jesus, forgive us our sins, save us from the fires of hell, lead all souls into heaven, especially those in most need of thy mercy. Amen. I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I believe in one Lord, Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, born of the Father before all ages, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, consubstantial with the Father. Through him all things were made. For us us men in our salvation. He came down from heaven and by the Holy Spirit was incarnate of the Virgin Mary and became man. For our sake, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate. He suffered death and was buried, and he rose again on the third day in accordance with the scriptures. He ascended into heaven, and he is seated at the right hand of the Father. He will come down again in glory to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom will have no end. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Father and the Son, who with the Father and the Son is adored and is glorified, who has spoken through the prophets. I believe in one holy Catholic and apostolic church. I confess one baptism for the forgiveness of sins, and I look forward to the resurrection of the dead and the world to come. Amen. Blessed Trinity, glorious Trinity, oh, how we praise you, love you, revere you, and seek you, and yearn for you, and desire you above all things. Christ Jesus, I glorify you above all things. Wash my mind from all of my thoughts and feelings of anger. Wash my heart from all my impure desires and all my impure thoughts and my envy and my pride. Jesus Christ, Son of the Father, have mercy on me, a sinner. Listen to the prayers of your saints, from Saint Joseph, Saint Thomas Aquinas, Saint Ignatius. Please listen to the saints in heaven, for they are interceding for me and all of my loved ones. I ask that you and your mother crush the pride within me, just as you and your mother crushed the serpent. Proto-evangelium. Christ Jesus, I love you above all things. Always keep my mind focused on you. Never permit me to feel comfortable even a second without you. Always force me to yearn for you and desire you. Draw me closer to you. Continuously draw me closer to you. I pray for the souls of all. I pray that all humans, past, present, and future, come to you, Christ Jesus. That's the only way to the Father. I pray that they all come to you. I pray for the conversion of all souls, all my enemies, family, friends, acquaintances. I pray for the conversion of all souls. I pray that they may enter your heavenly kingdom with the Father and the Holy Spirit, one substance of three distinct yet related persons, one only true God. How we love you above all things. We love your mother, ever virgin, blessed Mother Mary, the terror of demons, and her blessed spouse, Saint Joseph, that terror of demons. Please protect all of us. And as we walk through this earth, as we go through these trials and tribulations, give us our strength, heal our bodies, protect our tongues, keep us away from any negative speech, keep our mind laser focused. Please keep our brain very healthy and very just sharp and acute. Keep us very, very razor sharp, cutting edge with our knowledge and our recall of memory and all these things that bring glory to your name, and have fun in this time of reading One Piece weekly. Bring us lots of joy and happiness. Heal the bodies of those like Peanut Butter and Jelly. Heal the bodies of those like Simon. Protect and guide and nurture and support the families that we have, whether it's myself, Young Smokey, soon-to-be family, Real Backbeard propagandist family. Protect and uplift your warriors and your children, people like Nika, aka Tay. I ask on their behalf, Lord, protect them, lead them, strengthen them through these troublesome times. We love you, Christ Jesus. I glorify you to the very end. Please make my voice pleasing to the ears of many. Please fill me with patience and love and wisdom. Keep me away from anger and slanderous speech. Keep me away from gossip. Christ Jesus, I love you above all things. I glorify you above all things. Glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. Amen. Who's first? Who is first? Who's going to get into the VC? That's what I want to know. And if you guys are too scared to get into the VC, you guys have the YouTube stream chat, okay? Vincent, God bless, bro. One Piece TCG, God bless. John Sherrod, God bless, bro. Don't idolize Oda. We have got to kill the Goda nickname. It's cool to respect his talent, but we can't worship him. Yeah, you know what? The Oda worshiping, it gets annoying when people I'm not even gonna get into that because people are gonna say I hate Oda for that. They're going to be like, oh, bro, you hate Oda. You want to make money off One Piece, but yet you hate Oda. I'm not even going to get into that, Smokey. I ain't going in. I just woke up. Okay, we're going to pull in Terrence.
Hey.
Back for some more.
For sure.
What's good, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Doing great, man.
What's up?
All right. What are you looking to share with us today, bro?
Where do you think this is gonna? Do you think that Loki is gonna join the crew Or do you
Nah,
think that's yeah,
nah, bro.
yeah, I don't see that happening either. I mean, think about it. He only asked him to join the crew for a technicality anyway, so he can.
Yeah. See, like the thing is, right? There's like this problem in the One Piece community where people kind of get confused with the word Nakama because they've used that throughout the story, but it's not always meant to be in a way that someone is on the Thousand Sunny or like on the Going Merry sailing with the Straw Hats.
Mm.
And if you want, Terrence, I can link you an article about this from the Japanese readers because they'll use Nakama a lot, bro. When someone's even just a homie of Luffy, they'll use the word Nakama.
Yeah, like ally, they use it. Yeah, for friend, ally, kindred spirit. They just use Nakama. Yeah,
Hold
it
on, we
makes
got our
it.
boy Preach. We got our boy Preach in the chat. Hey, how about you answer this, Terrence? When will Zoro get his black blade?
Mm, that's actually a good question. I actually think he'll get it in his fight against what is the name, Shiryu.
Sure, you.
Yeah,
Ooh. It has to be the Wado Ichimonji, though, right?
yeah, it has to be. Yeah,
It has to be, bro. He has to turn Queen's blade black. Come
yeah. I
on.
think he'll actually turn that blade black first, and then he'll turn Enma black.
I knew you were gonna say Enma. Yeah, if there's only one that's turned black, it has to be the Wado. It
For
could
sure.
be more, like how you said. It doesn't have to only be one, but for sure it has to be the Wado
For
Ichimonji,
sure.
right?
Yeah, to me, it makes sense it will be both, just because one, the emotional attachment to Wado Ichimonji, but then also just the even tease to Enma. That I'm like, hey, if it becomes a black blade, it'll go up a grade. Like, to me, you can have a tease like that and not have it turn black.
See, I like how you said though, like against Shiryu. The reason why I like that is because I do see the case where the Straw Hats, like they have some type of how do I say it? Like their grand goal is met before they go against the world government. So for an example, right? I like the idea that Luffy's the king of the pirates fighting Emu. I like the
Yeah.
idea that Zoro has like a black blade fighting against the Gorosei, you know, versus like, you know, the Straw Hats, like Luffy becoming Pirate King or Zoro getting a black blade or whatever, and then the story immediately ends. Like, I want to see some time where the Straw Hats, you know, they get to they get to live out their accomplishment against the world government, like for the rest of the story from that point on.
For sure. I mean, yeah, because to me, think about it like this. Technically, Roger started being called the Pirate King before he technically even reached Laugh Tale, right?
No. He became Pirate King when he left Laugh Tale. It was
Yeah.
Big News Morgan's.
Right. Okay,
See, so
okay.
Big News Morgan's was the one that coined that term.
Oh, yeah, I could have
Like,
sworn. Yeah, I could
like
have sworn he was. There were people who were calling him that before that though.
nah, not from what I remember, but see, the
Yeah.
thing is like, uh, Big News Morgan's he coined the term of Pirate King. Like, you can actually see post chapters 972, 973. You can see how the Straw Hat, or not the Straw Hats, you can see how the Roger Pirates were actually like surprised, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Like that has a ring to it. Like it clearly isn't whatever Roger's dream was." But it's interesting because then Luffy turns around and he's like, "Oh, well, you know what? I need to be Pirate King, so then my dream could actually have a chance." But notice how they only made up that term because of Big News Morgan's. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, he has a lot of influence. You know, he's had the whole thing for years, so yeah, it makes sense. You know, people were calling Luffy the Fifth Emperor because of Big News Morgan. So yeah.
So going back to Loki though, because we got a little sidetracked. So from 0 to 100, with 100 being like confirmed Loki's joining. I know you said you don't really think he's going to join, but where on the scale do you think it would be?
0 to 100, right?
Yeah,
I
like
would give it like me personally. I would give it like a 40. That's just how I am. You know, like I think there's a chance, but I think it's a very low chance.
Yeah, I don't really see him joining. And honestly, yo, I actually tried to say L, you're ugly in the chat, and it says YouTube rejected my comment. Well, L, you're ugly. So here's my thing, right? With Loki joining, honestly, one, like, these are gonna sound really silly reasons, but I think they're actual good reasons. So, like, first of all, Loki can't even fit on the ship.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
the
don't know if
thing. Yeah,
people realize Loki's like 10 times bigger than the ship. And the owl Biblo, he can't shrink people. He can only grow things. And then
yeah,
second, he can't even do that to humans. He can only do it to inanimate objects. And it seems like it wears off. So, like, I don't think he would be able to infinitely grow the size of 1,000 Sunny. So that's like the
yeah,
first. The second problem is this dude Loki could probably go head to head with Luffy, which would instantly put him above Zoro and Sanji. And like, I don't see Oda disrupting the monster trio. So like, that just seems
yeah.
not likely to me. And third of all, I would say is that I think Loki is going to be kind of similar to Yamato, where these characters guard their countries respectively. So Loki should be sitting at Elbaf, guarding Elbaf, because outside of Loki, I mean, it's just really Shanks. And how much more can Shanks like live at Elbaf when he's like trying
Yeah.
to chase Blackbeard? You know, and then on like the other hand, like Yamato, she had the devil fruit of the Guardian of Wano, so it makes sense that she would stay behind. So with
Yeah,
that being said, I don't see Loki joining.
for sure. I was disappointed that Yamato didn't join though. You know, because Yamato is very powerful and very fine. So I
You
was
said,
all for her joining.
yeah, I mean, like at the time, it's funny because like at the time, I was actually 50-50 on it when we were reading weekly, but I 100% understood the reasons why she shouldn't join. So, you know, once she didn't join, I was like, oh, well, that felt kind of obvious. You know, because like in the middle of Rooftop, they went out of their way and they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, like Yamato, like your devil fruit's a guardian of Wano. It just, from when they said that, I was like, oh, like that has to be a reason why she would stay back.
For sure. No, I mean, I thought I was. It didn't surprise me all that much when she didn't join because you already knew Wano was vulnerable. You know, Wano has been drained dry and poisoned water and weakened because of tyranny. So you knew it was going to be vulnerable. So I thought to myself, like, she might want to stay just because of that. So yeah, I was disappointed, but I wasn't really surprised.
Now, there are people that do think she still could join. Are you one of those people?
I think that there's potential there that it could happen, but I just don't necessarily see it happen. It's basically like kind of like Loki.
Yeah, I mean that ship has sailed, bro. Like,
Yeah.
no pun intended. Like, I think it's too late. I think if she was gonna join, she would have joined by now. Now, I could see a case for maybe Vivi because Vivi has nowhere to go, and then Bonnie, right? But someone in chat said, "Why are you saying she's a she? Yamato's a man, bro." I'm not playing the alphabet game here.
I'm just not with. Yeah, like,
Evil, you need to respect Yamato's pronouns.
yeah, all right, it's good. Look, they even when the whole when they introduced it to Yamato on the box, and Froud said daughter of Kaido. So that's all
Daughter.
I need to know here.
Yo, these guys. Yo, Terrence, you got to change the subject before I say something crazy, bro.
All right, how about
What's good, bro? All right, so Terrence, let me ask you, bro.
Yeah.
What do you see going down in 1153?
1153. I think we're gonna see a little bit more of Loki's history. So I think we're gonna see a lot more Loki fighting and what he's gonna do, what he's capable of. So
Do you think that's going to at least lead up into I want to ask you, do you think that's going to lead up until why exactly Harold was killed, or do you think that's going to take more than just 1153?
Yeah, that might. I think we might stay on this flashback for a couple more chapters. So I think it's gonna take a little longer than 1153.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, let's bring Smokey Gabong into the VC.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up?
My boy,
Y'all were talking about Yamato, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I think about Yamato and Loki. And let me make it clear first. I like both of them. I like both of them. Yamato for Gabong reasons, you know. But for me, it's just Oda has told us over and over and over. He wants Luffy to be an underdog. And when Gear 5 came out, I loved everything about Gear 5. Narratively, it made sense. But every nagging thought in the back of my head was like, Oda, what are you gonna do when you make Luffy way too strong and it's gonna be like hard for you to nerf him narratively? So like Oda just loves nerfing the Straw Hats. I mean, look at what Jinbei has done since he's been a Straw Hat. As far as like agenda and slander from the fandom, everybody's saying Jinbei is a certified firefighter.
Bro, that's crazy.
I
A
mean,
Yeah.
it's what he's
fire.
been reduced to.
A
Hmm.
firefighter.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah.
bro, I love Jinbei. Like
Yeah, me
I
he's
too.
love Jinbei too, but
I
like,
will say this. I will say a lot of people were disappointed, like when like Gunko kind of handled the Straw Hats. To me personally, I feel like the God Knights need to be that strong, or like, what was the point of introducing them? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I get that they're a young crew, but they got to be tough.
yeah.
yeah,
See, that's where
no, I
Emu comes
absolutely
in, though.
agree
That's where
because
Emu comes in. Because
my
Oda
bad.
created a scenario where he's going to be able to hype up Emu while simultaneously giving a reason as to why the Holy Knights are so strong.
Hmm.
Exactly. I agree with that. So what I was going to say, Terrence, I hear what you're saying because sometimes when I think about like the end of the series matchups, it's like, well, if hockey is really the key, then who the hell are going to fight? Who is going to actually fight the God Knights? You know what I mean? And then when I thought about it, I was like, the Revolutionary, Karasu's cool, Sabo's cool. You know what I mean? But Bello Betty fighting a Holy Knight, that's crazy.
I mean, we don't know everything she can do, so it's maybe a little too early to
It
talk.
just doesn't feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It reduces the hype for me. But I think Oda did a fantastic job of introducing the God Knights, having their little quirks with Gunko, with
Whoa, my audio
Saunders,
just
and
cut
with
out.
Killingham.
yo, audio, I can hear you.
Wait, did my audio cut out?
No, I hear you.
Okay.
Hello?
You good? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
hear
can hear
you.
you.
Bro,
Yeah,
I
we can
can't
hear
hear
you.
anything.
Oh, you can't hear us.
He can't hear us.
Uh,
Just
Boo.
happened.
can you hear us now?
I'm lagging. Oh no.
That's bad.
Uh, what's going on? Hold on. Let me refresh.
Man, I just got up.
I just got off of work, so yeah.
I think it's time for a shave. This beard is starting to look rough now.
Same with me, honestly. Not as
Yeah,
rough
but
as yours, but
We're in Elbath, so I could just be a Viking warrior. I look like it.
Hey, so Loki's not joining. Yamato's not joining. Bonnie's gonna join. Maybe Vivi will come back because she has nowhere to go. But to go
I can
back
see
really
that.
quick, I do think probably. I mean, I kind of want to say like 11:53. It will reach that point as to what happened to Harold, and begin to explain, or at least like about to begin to explain why Loki was like framed. It might be literally like the last panel, bro.
So let me ask you real quick, Threevil. So we've had the Herald flashbacks for one chapter now, two chapters, I think, one or two
One.
chapters. How many more chapters do you think we'll get of this flashback? Do you
See,
think it'll?
like here's the thing, right? Oda like speed ran it in 11:53. Like
Yeah, he
we
did.
went from like nothing all the way until Loki was a teenager. And the interesting thing is in 1152, they were saying that oh, from this moment onwards, Loki was deemed as the cause for all the chaos and turmoil Elbaf has faced. So it seems like Oda wants to continue speedrunning. Like he's not going to keep showing like all these scenarios of things that's happened to Elbaf during Loki's time. That's why I think like in 1153, at least like by the final panel, we'll begin to see why it was that Harold was killed and maybe even why Loki was framed for it. So if we reach that in 1153, probably by 1154, we're out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still possible that he wasn't framed, that he actually did kill him, but there was a reason for it. Like maybe he was even possessed or forced to kill him. Who knows? You know, because like when
I mean, I will say this: that panel that Oda did of Harold, like he's doing this and he's got his horns going up, and like, man, that panel of all those guards killing Harold, stabbing him, that is probably one of my favorite panels of the summer.
yeah.
That's
Although
that's cold.
I will
Like
say this,
I never understood why. Like why though? Like that feels like a random panel. Like I feel like I kind of know why, but like why?
yeah, and
I
also
think it
I
just
gotta
looks
admit,
cool aesthetically.
how did this
That's the
person,
best answer I can give you.
how did this
I can't
person
give
we're
you a narrative answer.
how did this person we're seeing end up being this king who was like, I'm a peacetime. Let's stop being a warrior nation. Let's be all about peace. Like I mean, everybody grows. Everyone, they young at one point and then they mature, get older. But it's like I'm with Loki. Like, why did this dude like stop being a warrior culture? Let's be about peace. You know what I mean? I was a little
So,
disappointed about that.
You know what? What's her name? Hiruden's mom was like Loki Orihime.
oh yeah,
Remember
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Princess Orihime?
Oh yeah.
The whole peaceful, like harmonious kind of person. She, what's her name? Ida? Is that the Hiruden's mom?
Yeah, Ida's Hiruden's mom. Ida.
Exactly.
Oh
Ida
yeah.
was like a princess Orihime and changed Harold.
Yeah. So hold up. Who was the arranged wife? Whose mom was that? Because I remember both wives, but I can't remember whose mom was
Bro, I
who.
don't remember. Oh, Estrid.
Estrid is Loki's mom.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah, shit. Yeah, she was the one he was arranged to marry, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, makes
Hey,
sense.
let's bring
She's the one that
TCG. What's
Loki's
good
mom
stuff?
was a hippie girl. She all about the vibes, and the vibes wasn't good. She took Loki and yeeted him off a cliff.
I mean, here's, let's talk about Loki's eyes for a second, though. That's a good question. Like, they're not the exact same as Mihawks, but they're similar.
I think
See,
they're more like pointed, like like a dragon's eye when you're looking at a dragon.
right? Yeah.
Looks
Whereas,
like a dragon's eye
whereas
or a cat.
Mihawks truly is like a hawk's, really. Yeah.
Yeah, Mihawks is a little more like a hawk.
Yeah, because it's what Smokey said. Like Loki's eyes, they're like a, what do you even call that, bro? Like a
They're elongated in like the shape of like a diamond.
like
You
an
know what I mean?
almond.
Like a cat,
Right. Like,
or a dragon,
yeah, or
or
a
a
demon,
crocodile. Look at
or
a crocodile's eyes. Looks
or
exactly like it.
yeah, or a demon. So
Or a demon, yeah, demons for sure.
Hey, One Piece TCG, bro. What are your thoughts or your predictions on 1153?
Is it 53 or 54? Shoot, I lose track, bro.
Oh, it might be 54.
Yeah,
Is
for
it?
a second I
Honestly,
thought I blooped
honestly,
out.
I
I was
lose
like,
track all the
did
time.
I skip ahead a chapter somehow?
Wait. Is it actually 54?
yeah, I kind of lost
I
track
think it
myself.
is
I got last
54.
week.
Yeah, we're
I
on
could be wrong.
1154. We're waiting for the spoilers for that this coming week.
Wait, I was using 53 the whole time. It is 54. Oh shoot.
It happens, man. It happens.
But 53, the officials should drop today.
Oh no, they won't because it was a break week.
Oh yeah, you're right.
What was it, or was that last week?
No,
No,
he's right. We're on a
break.
break week. We're on a break week. He's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, so One Piece TCG. What are your thoughts on 54 though? What are your predictions?
Shoot, I think we're just gonna get more like a flashback as to what happened with Harold, right? Leading up to like what he dealt with. You know what I mean? Like we might see a little bit of what happened at Mary Joie.
Can
But
y'all
I
hear
think that
me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
it's also gonna mix in with like current stuff. You know, it's not gonna just be pure flashbacks. So we might have like some cutoffs leading up into like what we're doing, what's happening today. You get me? So it's gonna be like this action led to this that action led to that. So I feel like it's gonna tie into like what's going on with the current stuff.
Mm.
I don't know. That's what I think. Like as our guys are approaching the upper realm to fight off like Dorian Broggy, I feel like it's gonna tie into like the flashback. Some things like that. I feel like you know.
Yeah,
That's what
because I think I agree with you in the sense that okay, so my prediction's a little more broad, but it also comes with a question because I've been thinking about it, right? So with Kuma's life, his life got completely messed up by Saint Saturn. Specifically Saint Saturn. Obviously all the Gorosei and Emu, but specifically Saint Saturn. So I wonder which Gorosei or which person in the government that's extremely powerful and influential has it out for Harold. Because once these upper guys have it out for you, you're pretty much screwed, brother.
Yeah, you're
But
cutting in
and
and
then
out.
my prediction is who is going to be the strongest human that Harold meets? I mean, obviously Ida changed him, but like, who's he going to meet? Is he going to meet Zabek? Is he going to meet Guard? Like, who's he going to meet that's going to beat his ass and humble him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm.
Well, I mean, something must have happened in Mary's Law, honestly, and I think it would have been honestly Garland.
Garling. I think
Oh
that I
shoot!
think I 100% think Garling in his prime could beat Harold. So I can
Oh
see that.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry, I had to leave for a second. Something happened to my volume, so I had to pop off for a minute.
that's all. um, See, Marie Joie is an interesting conversation because I mean, like, it has to be Luffy that ultimately takes down Inu and the world government, therefore liberating the world. So I'm just thinking, like, what's going to happen from now, Marie Joie burning, all the way until Luffy actually reaches Marie Joie? Like, does that mean that whoever's attacking Marie Joie is going to fail? Or is it just going to be an ongoing war until Luffy reaches it?
Uh,
Uh,
I feel
I
Honestly,
like
mean,
I feel like
important.
they're gonna come down. They're gonna come down to Elbaf. The good,
that's
like all of them are probably gonna come down to Elbaf, and
I
then they're gonna leave with stuff from Elbaf, and then they're gonna have to go retrieve it. Kind of like what Zebek did on God's Valley. You know, they stole something from God's Valley, so then they went to God's Valley to take it. Or this, I mean, the Celestial Dragon stole something, and then the pirates had to go to God's Valley to take it back.
so
So I feel like it's
basically
gonna be a new
Emu's gonna
thing.
lure Luffy to the Holy Land. He's gonna take something from Luffy and he's gonna lure him there. That's what you
Exactly.
think?
I mean, what exactly
Mhm.
did Emo see? He said that
I
the
can see it.
Holy Land was burning or in ruins or something like that.
It was on
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah, like maybe it's not a direct attack. Maybe it was a more that maybe that was the goal. Maybe they just set a fire and then they left whoever was
Or it
attacking.
even could have been Lafitte because Lafitte's been scoping out Marige while trying to see what the revs are
Yep.
doing.
Yep.
And the last time we saw Blackbeard, he
He
was
was
talking to
watching the
Lafitte.
Underground King, the Port King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lafitte is there. He's there, and I've been saying it over and over and over, like for months. Lafitte is somebody we cannot underestimate as far as a threat and as far as like narrative importance.
It's funny
Oda,
we bring up. It's funny we bring up the Blackbeard pirates because we know that that what's her name copied Saturn.
Katarina Devon.
Carrie Nirvana. She touched Saturn so she can
Okay, so my
copy.
theory on that is Oda's gonna. Okay, so I say all this to know that Oda's gonna make me look dumb, but I think he set that up and then realized, oh crap, I just killed Saturn. because Emu and the Gorosei and the Holy Knights are all gonna know Saturn's gone. Like,
Exactly.
how are you gonna fool them? You gonna show up like Saturn? So if it's not a play for the Seraphim, I have no idea.
Well,
Yeah.
it could be that Blackbeard
He
and
actually no. What's so crazy about that is he actually they did the copy before Saturn was
look.
killed.
So
So
the
like it's yeah. Go ahead.
thing is, is even though, like, let's say, like some of the Holy Knights know and the Gorosei know, like there could still be a scenario where, dude, what's her name? Katarina Devon pretends to be Saturn against people that don't know Saturn is dead. And then another idea is like the mark. I think the mark probably won't even have anything to do with Devil Fruits. I think it's going to be based off of magic, which is a new power system in One Piece. And I have a whole thread about that on Twitter.
I
So
agree.
if she's able to morph into Saturn, and Saturn obviously has the mark for the pentagram abyssals or whatever, pentagram abyss, then perhaps the Blackbeard Pirates and Katarina Devon could abuse this teleportation power and manipulate it to their advantage, because that seems to be like they teleported from Marijua all the way to Elbaf. Like,
But I got something for you though. Like the thing is, only Katarina would be able to teleport because they stated that the kids couldn't teleport with them.
yeah, it's the people
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
mark. So
you're right. They
even
did.
So only Katarina.
Yeah,
That's
so
why they
even if
had the
it's
boats.
only her, that's still a big tool in their arsenal.
That's
I
true,
mean, it's
but I think it would
possible.
be.
It's possible that what's his name with the warp fruit could teleport with her
Well,
just because.
see,
It's too
Van
far for him though. He doesn't know how to control it yet.
True,
He
but
said
like
wait. Do we know for a fact that he doesn't know how to control it? Because if that's true, he's going to be a crazy in-game opponent for whoever
Yeah,
he fights. And personally, right now, if I'm thinking of a scenario, even though it may not make complete sense, I mean, I get it. They're both the snipers and stuff, but or wait, was that John Bart? No, never mind. Anyway, I want Usopp to fight Luffy. I'm getting mixed up with the
Usopp versus
Blackbeard Pirates.
well, yeah,
But
that's definitely gonna happen. My thing
I'm
is
that's
how
mixing up the Blackbeard
is
Pirates
that,
too.
bro?
Like who is
If,
who?
if Usopp and Van Auger fought right now, Usopp's getting completely packed up. How is Oda gonna bridge
super.
that?
Nah,
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
done
How
so.
is Oda gonna get him to that level where he's gonna fight Van Auger?
Bro, I've been hearing theories, and I don't like the theory, but I feel like it may happen. I feel like Usopp's gonna get turned into a demon.
what?
Hey, that's
What?
better than
Not
No.
Maki bullets?
Hey, hey, there's
We
there's
ain't doing
there's
the
some
hockey bullets.
foreshadowing. All right, hear me out. There's some foreshadowing. He did say that he was the king of the demons.
he
He did
did.
say that. He did,
He
yeah,
said that?
yeah.
I
When?
don't remember him saying that.
I forget which chapter it was exactly, but someone else did point it out. So
You know
like
what?
he could be something to persuade I don't know, Dorian Broggy. I don't know, bro.
Wait. What arc? You said in Little Garden?
I don't know which one exactly, but I did watch another YouTuber and he showed the exact panel of where he said it too.
Mm.
Hey,
I can't tell you exactly where it was, but I forgot it. But
Actually,
he
no.
did
I
say it.
think I may
I think
vaguely remember something
when
like
we're
that.
talking, someone has like some like background static.
Is that me?
Yeah,
I don't know where it's
I
from.
think it's you, TCG memes. But it
Maybe
might be
if the
me. Is
volume's
it me?
lower, maybe that'll go away. I don't
Nah,
know.
because I didn't hear it. I think it might be Terrence.
Me?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe if you have the volume lower, it'll help. Oh, I think it went away. Yeah, it went away.
Uh,
I turned my volume down a little bit also.
I turned
So
Yeah,
it
mine
could
a
have
little
been
down.
me.
Yeah.
mine's not that high. Yeah, look, it's
Okay,
gone.
it's good now. It's good now. So, here's the thing, right? You mentioned Usopp getting flipped. That would be fun. I think that's better than Luffy, bro. Could you imagine Luffy gets flipped? It's just
I
gonna
would
be
hate
Loki
that.
versus like everyone.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, if Luffy got flipped, that's pretty much the end of the world, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just gonna be Loki. Because I mean, come on, like the lower tier Straw Hats, like how much could they really do right now?
I mean, could he
Because
get flipped?
I,
Because
I feel like
I feel
they
like.
can.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Like I was like, could he get flipped? Because I feel like the whole point is like Emu's power is almost like the antithesis of Luffy's power, and representing freedom and imagination to what he wants, and Emu was representing control and dominance and taking away willpower and transforming you into a slave of his bidding. You know what I mean? So like maybe he can't even flip Luffy.
Yeah, that's what I'm
No.
saying. Because if he, okay, I've been seeing how people work or Emu's powers work. So they flip kings or like people who are in charge of their captain, or like they flip the captains essentially, and then the captains can flip the subordinates. So if he were to flip Luffy, the rest of the Straw Hats would turn into demons.
And it's just game over.
That's why I don't think it would be Luffy. I think they would flip someone specifically, and I think it might be Usopp. That's the only way he could get strong. I don't know. I don't know.
I,
I,
I'm
I hate
not
to say
a.
it, but Usopp is
I
like
kind of
so
want
badass, bro.
Loki. I kind of want Loki to die, and in his last breath, Usopp Chin, here is my hammer, and he figures out a way to make it smaller,
Hey,
and
if he's
then
a demon,
Usopp
he could
with the
probably lift
power
it.
of
I don't know.
Thor.
Hey, I mean, look at Enma. When Odin had Enma, it was like 4 times taller than Zoro, and then when Zoro
Yeah,
got Enma, it shrunk.
yeah,
That
you're
is
right.
true.
You're
Is
right.
there an explanation for that?
No, I'm pretty
A
sure.
lot of people, when it comes to explanations, they just say Oda does size discrepancies
No,
all
no,
the
no.
time.
The thing is, I'm like 99% sure a reader asked Oda about that in an SBS, and Oda just like dodged the question.
Huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, I want
When
to
Just
Oda
like
see
not
Loki
dodges
go out
questions,
like,
you
though.
got to
like
pay attention.
it came.
After what happened with Shamrock, I can never overlook when he dodges a question.
Because when I read it, it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, it's not really a big deal. Like it's just like plot stuff. Like just ignore it. That's the vibe I got. I could be completely like imagining this SBS, but I'm pretty sure someone asked him about it.
I do recall that too, actually. I do recall that. Yo, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
got something. I got something for you, bro. So like, I gotta go in a little bit, but I haven't heard anyone talk about this. But like, do you remember what happened when Usopp hit Gunko with the Flame Star?
her body was like destroyed and then she regenerated.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So people are
Yeah, well, half of
slandering.
her face was
So,
missing or something.
yeah, like
Like it
half
was
her
on
body
fire.
disappeared. Yeah. So it's like we're thinking that maybe fire might be like, not the damage per se, but it would do like heavy like damage, not damage like to their physical body. They're sure gonna regenerate, but like half their body's gone and it takes time to regenerate. Now we have a lot of people slandering Sanji over here because he doesn't have conquers. But look, what's his power?
Oh
It's
yeah,
freaking
fire
it's
kicks and
freaking
stuff like
fire.
that.
So
And
this
free
fool,
John
yeah,
Bay.
I
yeah,
don't think too
this
much
is
of it
gonna.
because
I
I
don't
mean I
know,
don't
man.
because like yeah, sure she got blown away, but she regenerated. That's just how they work.
No,
I
I
know a
know,
lot of
but
people these days expect everyone in these stories to be invulnerable, like Kaido and Big Mom, but that's just not how everyone is. That's not how everyone shows their invincibility. Some people show it through like just regeneration or phasing, like with Logias and or their immortality. So I didn't
I
really
feel
think
that.
too much of it.
But it does take time to regenerate. That's all I'm saying. So like Sanji could be over here like speed blitzing people and kicking them with the fire, and then just like going to another one and kicking the fuck out of them. I don't
He
know,
could
man.
even do it. He could even do it as a tag team with Zoro. Sanji
Exactly.
speeding around the battlefield using his Infree John Bay, using all his flaming kicks, and then Zoro can come in and clean him up with Conqueror Saki slashes.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, true,
Dorian
They
brought
true,
are the wings of the
but
Pirate King, so
here's
they
the
should
thing:
be able to do just about anything.
the whole point to me of that one scene with Usopp destroying her was just to display her immortality. That doesn't mean necessarily
Oh,
that
it was
we're
to
going to
hype
keep
her up for
saying that.
sure. It was a hype up moment for her. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
but Usopp of all people being able to do that to Gunko, it's like
exactly. Yeah, there's something behind there. It's fire. Something behind the fire. That's all I'm saying.
I don't
I
know.
would just be
But
really
like I said,
interested to
see
see
that's what
how
threefold. That's what
the
I'm
Holy
saying.
Knight's abilities
That
affect
that right
water.
there, that Usopp being able to do that to her, I think people are just expecting this whole invulnerability thing. That's just not how a lot of people.
it doesn't have to be one or the other. Like it could be like fire's a great way to destroy the body. I see the problem you're having explaining this TCG because so saying damage and destroy, it's like, well, with the conversation that you guys have been listening to, it could be a scenario where Oda's like subtly showing us how fire destroys their body, but it's not enough to prevent them from regenerating. So Oda kind of could do a 2-in-1 where it's like he has Usopp of all people destroy Gunko's body, well then while then showing how, by the way, they could regenerate. So it doesn't have to be like only one or only the other.
I have a hypothetical for you. Since we're talking about fire, right? And the way that you worded it to me a second ago, or the way it seemed to me, my interpretation of what you were saying, Eddie, was that fire destroys the body, and then Conqueror's hockey comes in and cleans up the soul. You feel me? Or the willpower or dominating of the opponent. So Sabo should be an amazing opponent for the Holy Knights then.
Yeah.
Let's push the
think you
Sabo
guys are
Conquerors
reading too
agenda.
much.
He's got both of that. I mean, he doesn't have Conquerors, but he's got some hockey. He's Luffy's brother. He's got to have a prominent role.
I think you guys are reading too much into this fire thing. That's what I think. I really think you are.
Well, the world
interesting
will
thing
end in
is, though,
flames, brother. Fire brings down the whole tower.
Look what's going on in Merjois. Why can't they use their powers? I
so
don't know.
Smokey, here's the thing, right? If you had like that next level of conquerors, right? It seems like you could just skip the whole fire thing, right? Because Smokey, or because I was gonna say because Smokey gone. Because
I need fire too, brother. Fire is important. That's why that's why we're talking about it.
Scopper Gabon, he
I
just
don't
like
think it is.
the whole fire thing, and he cut Summers, and Summers couldn't regenerate. So it makes me think like, does that mean you just don't need the fire, or is someone going to use fire and the advanced conquerors and just completely obliterate the Holy Knight?
Yeah, but that's the thing. The fire, they still did regenerate from the fire. That's why I think there's nothing to really the fire thing. The fire destroyed her because they don't have that crazy invulnerability like Kaido and stuff. Their invincibility is in their regeneration. So yeah, when they get hit by a fireball, it's going to destroy their body, but they're going to regenerate.
Yeah, but it takes time. It takes time to regenerate. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe Sanji could be like a stun lock, for instance.
Well, technically, not every single time they had their body destroyed, it was by fire. Look at the girl
Okay,
set.
no, I get what you're saying, Terrence. I do understand what you're saying. Like, trust me, I get it. But my question I would put to you is just like with my hypothetical. Once we saw Gabon cut Summers, yes, he regenerated, but it took some time.
It took
And
hella time.
and with the
No,
fire,
that's
it
different.
didn't
That
take
was
any
with the
time for her to regenerate. She regenerated quickly. I'm saying let's make a character. Okay, let's use a Kainu. Let's say if a Kainu has Conqueror's Hockey.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I think it's got to be a duo thing. If fire is actually the thing, it's got to be a duo thing. It won't be fire specifically itself.
I get
I
you.
feel that.
I just don't think the fire is a thing that y'all thinking it is. I just don't think it is.
That's fair enough.
I feel like we might see a scene where Sanji comes in and kicks Dory and Broggy, or one or the other, and then we're gonna
I
see
want
like
to
half
see
their body
Usopp
disappear.
beat Dorian Broggy. That's what I want to see. He needs to beat the men he looked up to. Come on, Usopp. It's
Yeah.
now or never. Do
Right.
something, brother.
I'm just.
I feel like I'm the meme with the guy with the stick poking something. Do something.
Like,
All right, well, I gotta
me.
go, y'all. I'll see you guys next time. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Good having you here, bro.
All right,
You have
Yeah,
a good
TCG.
one,
Good
TCG.
talking to you, man.
laters, y'all.
Man.
Take it easy, bro. All right, so the chat's talking about how we would have Nightmare Nika. They're saying Nightmare Luffy and Elbaf version would be nuts. Nightmare Nika would be cracked.
I agree.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the end of the world, bro. He turns Luke. All right. The only other person I could see if he turned that would end the world. What if he turned Shanks? Because if he flipped Blackbeard, Blackbeard's just going to end up being Luffy. He going to be a good guy.
I mean,
Yo,
what if he
wait,
turns?
Blackbeard got
What if he
flipped.
turns Loki?
Luffy. You flip Blackbeard, he just becomes Luffy because this man's already evil. He'll just become good.
It's the Domi reversey. You did?
All right, Vincent, what's up?
Vincent, what's good, bro?
What's good, Vincent?
Yo, glad to be here.
All right, so
You got something on your mind?
getting flipped, Vincent.
Nothing. Just really wanted to come on and chat. Maybe we could talk about the SBS that leaked over the week.
Oh, you talking about 112?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, bro, I forgot
Yeah,
that.
we could talk about that.
Yeah. So, what what do you want? Which part of that do you want to tackle first?
For me, the biggest mind screw was Oda completely destroying all Gunko theories. And now it makes it look like
Oh yeah.
Brook was a noble. Like he could have been music teacher or something for the nobles, but he had access. And then he ended up being one of the caravan guards. So Brook knows some Mangmires, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. My whole thing was that it was maybe it could be that Brooke was the one of the commanders that was in charge before Garling took over, and he was like his instructor.
Ooh. How old is Garling, Eddie? He's in
Uh,
his 70s, late 70s, like Whitebeard, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we don't have his actual age, but if you think about it, maybe you could say like give or take, he was maybe like 20 in God Valley, which was 39 years ago. So he can't be any less than 59, I'd say.
Okay, so that's the
I would,
threshold is
I would, I would put it
59.
like that. I would say Garling's age no less than 59. That's what I would say.
And Brooke is
He's 93, I
Brooke like
believe.
okay. I
He's
thought
gonna
he
be.
was
Yeah,
I
I
thought
think
Brooke
he's
was in
really
his
old.
80s. I thought Brooke was in his 80s.
Yeah, we don't got Garling's age, but
Oh, he was in his 80s in the time skip, and he's 90 now.
Okay.
wait,
No, we know Brooke's ancient.
You
Well,
said
yeah.
Gunko theories were destroyed. Why'd you say that again? Which SP? Excuse me.
Oh,
Which SPS page?
no, because they confirmed that she is a celestial dragon, a world number.
Oh,
The
that's the
Yeah,
correction.
Mare, right?
she was like never brought from the lower realm.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, no.
She was from a prominent family.
Yeah, I didn't mean to be like a actually, but I was confused because I was like SPS. No, yeah, you're right. See, Oda does stuff like that all the time, bro. Oda will like have the volumes come out and like add context, and like you won't even like, really expect it coming because you know what? I actually saw a Japanese theorist. They were saying they were like making whole like narratives about how Oda didn't name Shamrock a saint. And they didn't name Gunko a saint. So this means this, and then that means that, and then that. So making a whole narrative off that. But then you know, Oda just comes through with the volume corrections, and now all of a sudden they're a saint. So
Yeah.
we always got to keep our eye out on the like the
Yeah.
finalized volume.
But with
Oh yeah.
Shamrock, that was I felt like that was inevitable because I mean Garling's his dad, so like we knew he was gonna be a saint. You
Well, with
know,
Gunko, she's addressed as Saintess, not Saint.
Gunko
So
caught me
those
by
are two
surprise.
different
Well, that
titles.
makes sense. I
So
mean, the
well,
lady.
yeah, I mean, so the thing is like Vincent mentioned the whole saint thing. So apparently I think Goo means saint. And then say means something else. But like the thing is that Oda only ever uses goo for the female celestial dragons in One
Yeah,
Piece.
like Charlia Goo is what
Which is
the
another reason why
which
Emu
is
is 100% a
would be
dude.
Yeah,
Eddie
exactly.
D Eddie D God damn it, I forgot I forgot the
Yeah,
nickname.
you're
You
just
go back to
Ignore
you
me.
saying like,
L, help me out. What do we call Eddie? Something
no,
something
no, no.
Saint
L,
Weevil
don't help
Charles the third.
L.
Yeah, his sister, Charlie Agoo.
What was that? We hold on. Before this, we were talking about. Oh, you said it makes sense that Shamrock would be a saint because his dad's Garling. No, I totally understand and agree with that. It's funny though, because like some Japanese fans, what their argument was is like Shamrock wasn't named a saint because even though his dad is Garling, his mom must have been from dirty
The
blood.
mortal realm.
He wasn't world noble blood, so they didn't make Shamrock a saint. But see how that all just crumbles when the volume gets finalized.
yeah,
Yeah.
go back to you saying Oda does that all the time. It's true. Like, think about how many theories people had when VB was missing. Like from the Reverie, and then
Yeah,
that was all destroyed when we found out she was with Big News Morgan. Nobody has predicted that.
Actually, I did. I'm not gonna lie, I did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you were
yeah.
the
Yeah,
only
but
one.
nobody could predict Wapple.
Yeah.
Nobody could
Okay,
predict
Yeah, no
Waffle.
one
Wapple.
thought Waffle was coming
It
back.
was all Waffle. Yeah.
I wasn't
I mean,
expecting this
everybody
pose.
thought like, oh, she
This
being
man
held.
Waffle ran into Marijois and saw Emu. Like, what? Yo, this man
Where's the
Oda's a troll.
security?
Oda is a
If I was
D1
Emu, I'd
troll.
be firing all my guards.
Oda
Okay.
is a D1 elite, like Holy Knight level troll, having Wapple of all people run into Marijois and see Emu. Wapple? Really, Oda? This man Oda is not serious, bro. He is
I
not
still
serious.
think Buggy is going to be the one that sits upon that throne first. It's going to happen.
I'm here for it, bro. I'm here for it. He
I'm
said he
here
was
for it too. Yeah.
He said
Let
it.
him keep failing all the way to the top.
Buggy said he's going to be king of the world. Blackbeard hasn't even said that. And you can fact check that. Buggy said he was going to be king of the world. This man's going to go up into Marijois' what do you call it? The empty throne room. Just like what Smokey said. This man's going to go and sit
I
on the
think
throne.
Blackbeard has said he wants everything.
It's going to
He's
be
gonna
like the
laugh and dance all the way up the stairs like the Joker did in the movie.
yeah. He's gonna be
I'm actually
laughing.
glad that you brought it up that Buggy said he was going to be king of the world, because he's
Hey,
also said he's going to be king of the pirates. Every title or every big lofty goal that's out there, Buggy says, I'm going to do it. So
yeah,
I believe him,
you know what?
because
Hey,
felling upwards is a skill I wish I had.
Hey, you
yo,
know,
that's built into who he is. So here's the thing, right? I guarantee you, give it like 100, 125, maybe 150 chapters. One of these days, we're gonna finally get. Oh, look, bro, this chapter 1,800 full summary. Did you read it, bro? Then you're reading the full summary. Chapter 1,850, an epic double page spread. Buggy sits on the empty throne, and the chapter ends. No break next week. Watch, bro. That's something that you could
Now,
read.
knowing Oda, once he does that panel, he's going to take a break for a month.
1 month break.
1 month break.
He
I
needs the
mean,
month break
Oda's
because
getting
he
up
just
there in age. He
satisfied so
needs more
many
breaks.
people.
Yeah.
In the epic double page spread, we see Buggy the Clown sit on the empty throne, and he's just laughing, and Emu's eyes are popping out. That's
So
literally
I got
what
a
he
question for the voice
would say.
chat and the chat.
In
All
an
right.
epic
So
Twin
obviously
Eagles
we
threat.
know
Ed Page, we get Buggy the Clown sitting on the throne with Luffy at his feet.
I got a
Oh,
question. I got a question for you all and chat. Uh, so we know Loki is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Where exactly do you think he ranks? Does he rank
Yonko.
somewhere after Big Mom and in between Kaido and Shanks, or is he right there with Shanks?
Hey, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure the Yonko are a lot closer than people realize. Because look, when Big Mom and Kaido were throwing hands in the beginning of Wano, they had to fight for
They
what, like
fought for 3 days. They
3
fought for
days?
3 days.
So I would say
Uh,
that the Yonko rank is actually a lot more relative than people think, and I would say Loki's Yonko level.
100%. I say he's Uncle level. I mean, real talk. I think all of them are close except for the Shiki, for the warlords. I think the warlords, there's a huge gap between them, but like the admirals and the Yonko, they're pretty relative.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I just happen to think, like, if I was going down through and ranking them right now, Shanks would be one as far as Yonko go. Shanks is one. Two is Kaido. Three is Blackbeard. Four is Big Mom.
Hey, you
But
know
that
what? Who just said the warlords right now? Who said that?
Me.
Terrence.
Right, Terrence, because you just made me like realize something, and I'm sure people have said this before. So what I would say, right? The Yonkos are like admirals, and the warlords are like vice admirals.
Hmm.
Mihawk is like Garp, but then the
Yeah.
admirals being so
Yeah.
close to each other,
Yeah.
that's like the Yonko.
Yeah,
Like
Mihawk would be the Garp of that
Yeah.
group.
you might say Akainu is stronger, right? But come on, they're pretty close, right? They had to fight.
Yeah.
No, I would never argue the gap between the Yonko or even the admirals is huge, but I do think there is a hierarchy.
No,
Like
I mean, I think he
they're
means like,
relative, but there is a hierarchy.
yeah.
That's what I think.
No, we're not talking about like the gap between the admirals and the young. I think he just been like all the admirals are relative to each other. All the
Yeah,
young are
absolutely. That's
relative
what
to
I'm
each other.
saying. They're all
Yeah.
relative to each other, but there's a small gap in between each individual admiral to each other.
for sure.
That's just the way I feel,
Yeah,
but
whereas
it
like
could be another
with
way.
the warlords, I feel like there's much bigger gaps between
Yeah,
them.
much bigger gap. Mihawk is undisputably the strongest warlord, and there's a huge gap between him and the next guy.
Yeah, and
Mihawk,
even
if Mihawk wanted to, he could be a Yonko, but he doesn't
Yeah,
care.
Mihawk could easily be a Yonko.
yeah, and or look at it like Doflamingo, the gap between Doflamingo and Gecko Moria, for example. That's a
Yo, get
huge gap.
bro.
And you know what the craziest thing about Gecko Moria is? That dude was actually a beast back in the day. He took on
Oh yeah.
Kaido.
Yeah, but Kaido handled
Once
them.
he lost that big old
Look,
beer belly, he was doing all right.
how is he not killed? This man lived to tell the story.
How is he not subjugated? Because we know what Kaido does. He'll beat you down, he'll throw you in prison, and then he'll make you submit and join his crew.
Maybe he escaped.
That's what he was trying to do with Kid and Luffy.
Or it was like a Buggy and Shanks situation.
Or maybe Kaido wasn't as strong as he is now at that time. Who knows? But
This
he was.
man is making a Moria backstory. We're gonna get a Moria flashback of him breaking out of Udon. Then we're gonna start loving Moria. We're gonna see his soft side.
Kaido was like what in
Hey,
his
hey,
early
hey, hey,
20s
hey,
when he did
listen,
that, right?
listen. I'm not a
Yeah.
big Gecko Moria fan, but he brought me Corona, so I can't hate him too much for that.
Vincent, I don't know how old Kaido was. When was that fight? Like how many years ago?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't even remember.
And Smokey, I thought you were better than the simping that we see from L, Pokemon Red.
What's wrong with Corona, dog? She's legal age. She's like 25, okay? Leave me alone.
Hey, legal age in Japan. The
Oh
problem
no,
is,
no,
25
no.
is legal age worldwide, brother.
All right. Well, you know what? This is a step up from
legal age. There's a
Nomad.
lot of talk about legal age. There's too many different legal ages that go around. So,
Like
Mihawk.
there's Sanji's perspective and there's our perspective.
Hey, Steve said Mihawk is functionally a Yonko. He's a muscle behind Buggy. Buggy is just a Yonko because the world government thinks he's the leader of Cross Guild.
That's
yeah,
true.
I think
Crocodile
like
is
the whole
also
idea
part
is
of that
like,
as well, but I
yeah,
agree with that.
yeah, I think the whole idea is like Buggy's the figurehead, right? So like Mihawk's like the quote unquote true Yonko of the group.
I mean, it's not Crocodile. So
Buggy's just had a PR, actually. He's
I
there
mean,
to
hey,
galvanize the troops.
even with them thinking he's the leader, they still gave Mihawk the higher bounty. So
I mean, it's really more about
Yeah,
the
they did.
pedigree of his background. Really, like Roger's crew having Crocodile and Mihawk as his subordinates. If he's the best
Not
kid,
to
he's gonna be
mention
a
what he did in
freaking
Marineford, escaping Impel Down.
broadcasting it to the whole world.
Hmm. Then he created what was it? Buggy's delivery system. Was that what he was doing as a warlord for his
yeah,
yeah,
business? He had a
Yeah, he
delivery.
was.
Yeah, that too. So Buggy became a Yonko based off his reputation, based off of all of the prisoners from Impel Down following him. Obviously, what he did in Marineford, and then his background, being a Roger pirate.
he
He's a
became a
fool upon
Yonko.
the pedestal of fools.
But he became a Yonko because his men like put him on on a high spot on a poster, making it look like he was above Crocodile and
Yeah,
Mihawk.
because when Shanks came into Marineford and Buggy was cussing him out, he's like, "Yo, you realize I still have a reason to be mad at you?" And Shanks is like, "Oh, you want this map? You want this stress?
That's
All right,
right.
all right, all right. I'll do it. I'll get
Yeah,
Luffy." All
Moss,
right.
yeah, not
And
knowing
then
that.
his men over at the side, they're like, "Wow, look at him! Look at the way he talks. Look at me. That's crazy."
Yeah,
Buggy makes
hey,
me laugh.
Nomad.
I thoroughly enjoy Buggy's character. I love Buggy, man.
Hey,
I
he
love
is
Buggy.
funny. I will give him that.
Anytime I see Buggy, I feel happy.
Nomad. Thank you,
I think they
Nomad.
did him justice in the live action series.
Hey, Nomad. The link to join the StreamYard is at the top of the stream chat, bro. Join the link.
I agree. The guy who portrayed Buggy in the live action series, I think he did a very good job.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Oh yeah. Although I didn't like the fact that they got rid of his weakness to like physical attacks. They had it, because Buggy he's immune to slicing attacks, but he's not immune to like blunt attacks. and for some reason they made him just immune to blunt attacks in that movie. And
And they gave him like a donut hole in the center of his body. What the heck was that?
I was like, what are y'all doing? Y'all messing up
Oh
the whole
no,
thing.
I guess they were trying to do an Ace tribute. Prepare everybody.
Ace tribute's insane. Do y'all think Ben Beckman will betray Shanks? No, I don't have any reason to.
No,
I see that statement right there is an old theory that I've seen, but I don't understand it. Like when I think of Shanks, that's like asking if Ben Beckman would betray Shanks is kind of like asking me if Zorro will betray Luffy. You know,
Oh.
that's how it
exactly.
feels.
Yo, if Zoro betrayed Luffy, I'm dropping One Piece.
No, that'd be crazy.
If it
Uh,
if it wound up making Zoro the new protagonist, though, would you still watch it?
If Zoro was a new protagonist, I would go buy the volumes again. I would go buy 2 of every One Piece volume.
yeah.
Wouldn't you
Although
buy
sometimes
3,
I
one
do
for
be.
every sword?
What?
Wouldn't you buy 3, one for every sword?
Yeah,
3
I
book
would
he's got a
style?
buy
point.
Zoro swords.
Threeville said that ain't in the budget.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes though, I do sometimes wish he was a little bit more of a rival character.
Bro, if you want Zoro to be the main character, just go watch Kagura or go read Kagurabaki.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought
Yeah.
that. I literally was gonna say Kagurabachi. I love that. That is trust me. Right now, I still think Kagurabachi, in terms of popularity and things like that, I think it's still an underrated gem. Get in this train before it takes off because if they animate Kagurabachi, oh
No,
my
they are.
god, that's
They
gonna be
are. It's
crazy.
confirmed.
They
They
are
are.
It's,
not animating it?
They're
yeah,
animating it? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
100%.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was. I saw it like maybe like a week or 2 ago. It's confirmed. They're doing the Kagurabaki anime.
Do you
Can't
know
Oh
wait
what
wow.
for that.
studio has it?
I don't know what studio. It's probably out there though. You could probably find it.
Looking
Mm.
forward to seeing that. And the new season of
I
Black
hope
Clover,
Wit
too.
Studio gets it. Honestly,
Hey, Vincent, could you imagine if they used what was the studio that did Demon Slayer?
Oh, I'm drawing a blank on that name.
damn, I was just
Imagine
thinking of
that
Wit
studio
Studio. I was thinking of Attack on
Hey,
Titan, and I didn't even think
Smokey,
about
Smokey,
Demon Slayer.
Vincent, I gotta ask y'all something. What do y'all think about Rokushiki?
Roku Shiki. Is that
Roku.
the martial arts?
Yeah, six powers.
Yeah, the 6 powers. Lucci uses it and stuff.
I mean, he does use a shade, but yeah,
Think Kobe knows the 6 powers?
he
Yeah,
does.
I do think. Yeah, Kobe knows shave because when he met Luffy, I think when he met Luffy and Zoro, after they saved Robin, and when Garp told him who's Luffy's dad was, I could have swore he used the shave technique.
He did. And I think there was some like supplementary material saying he was a master of the Rokushiki.
Kobe,
Yeah,
Kobe's gonna master every technique that involves just throwing hands. Garp's his teacher, so he's gonna
Kobe's,
master it all.
I mean,
Kobe has
Kobe's
conquered.
definitely Kobe is definitely unlocking Conquerors and Hachinosu, same way as Marineford.
Those two.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's gonna be the
I wish Loki.
Now,
I wish.
here's the crazy theory. Do you guys remember in Marine Ford when, like you were saying, like you were talking about in Marine Ford when Kobe was had his hands over his ears? He's like, all the voices he's hearing, everybody, the voices are dying. What if it was the voice of all things and not observation hockey?
No,
ah.
I think that was just observation. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
mean, that could have just been observation hockey at full
Yeah.
gear.
You know, Terrence
Obviously,
is
it's more than likely observation hockey. But wouldn't it be something if Kobe had the voice of all things?
I mean, what
I'm
was the
I
voice
mean,
of all
sure.
things? That means it's set up for something big.
I mean, Kobe is most definitely destined for something big. He's very important. How important though is what I'm trying to figure out.
Kobe's epithet is hero.
There you
That's
go,
pretty big if you think about it. Like his epithet
hero of
in
the
one
Marines,
hero.
No, no.
Kobe the hero from the Rocky Port
Hero of the Marines.
incident.
Kobe is just hero.
Did y'all ever read the SBS about when Oda actually talked about what the Rocky Port incident actually was?
Hey, hold on, real quick. Pause on that question. I want to get Nomad in here, but we already got like 4 people, so I don't know if anyone's willing to jump out for a little bit.
I can duck out for a sec.
All right, cool. We'll bring you back in.
Cool.
All right, let's get what's good, Nomad?
Yo, what's
Hey,
going on, you guys?
Yo, what's good, no man?
What's going on, man? What's going on,
What's going on,
You
bro?
got something on your mind?
Well, yeah. What was it that you just
man? Say that one more time.
I say you
spoke
got
to me
something on your
about a good
mind? You
question?
got
I want to
something you
hear
want to talk
Nomad's
about?
answer.
Yeah, I'm always coming up with theories and stuff. I'll be throwing them in comments and discords and stuff just to see what they're hitting on. I don't really get no responses back, but I'm happy to get this opportunity now. But the first the first thing I really want to discuss with you guys is about the theory I actually put on Threeville's Discord about the Emu not being able to possess everyone, right? And I got it pulled up on the split screen so I can just read what I wrote, and just I'm gonna get you guys' opinion
Yeah,
on
yeah.
some of this stuff.
Take your
Uh,
time, man.
all right, all right. This how it goes. And again, this was written June 4th, so it's actually been a whole month since I written this. So I want you to know that the information we have had updated information. All right, but I was saying we saw last chapter the reversey root thing has rules, and the person that Imu changes has to be of royal descent. It has to be a queen, a king, a princess, a prince. Anyone that has any type of royal blood that has control, or I would say any type of power against um they following or the people of their town. Like let's just say in the Goa Kingdom, if Imu wanted to possess that whole kingdom, right? He would possess Sabo's little brother, adopted brother.
Staley?
I forget his
Yeah.
Ellie.
name. Yes, Staley. Yes, Staley would be the perfect person to be possessed in order to possess a whole kingdom. And see, that is my thing about the Imu Reversi rule. I feel like because if you really think about the whole thing, um, if you really think about it, why didn't Imu just possess all these people to begin with if he's having all these problems? You get what I'm saying? If he can just possess people at will, why hasn't he done that to control all of these incidents that happened in the past? Like he basically have the power to do whatever he wants is what they were displaying to us. Like, oh, he could just sit there and control Dorian Broglie just like that. Then why couldn't he do that with other countries that he's trying to subdue and get to come to terms with what his agenda, I guess I would say. And I think the answer to that is you have to be of royal descent because you have to have some type of autonomy over control over people. And the reason why I think this, let me go back to my notes. The reason why I think this is because is the reason why I think that is because I also think that Imu can't possess. Well, I was actually told wrong on this, so I don't even want to say that anymore. A guy actually commented and kind of got me on that one because I was going to say that Imu couldn't possess people that already had devil fruits, but Gunko definitely will be the counter to that argument.
See, the
But
interesting thing, we don't know if Gunko ate her fruit after she was possessed. Like maybe
But
she
yeah,
ate
mm,
that
fruit
could be an
and then she was
important
possessed.
factor. The time that they ate their fruit.
But
right,
Nomad, I definitely understand. I totally, completely understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. And that is interesting because, like, clearly, Emu slash Gunko wanted to possess Dorian Bragi and make them the kings, and then start possessing other people. So it
yes,
has something to do with hierarchy. Now you're talking
yes.
about like bloodline and stuff like that. I want to think about that some more, but I want to hear you guys.
Yeah. I mean, to counter, like, the argument about why didn't he do that to more nations? I mean, his existence was supposed to be a secret. So, he's not going to go out and start turning everyone into demons. And
Yeah, but he used a proxy like Gunko. He didn't have to
Yes.
go out.
You don't have to actually do it himself. If Gunko was able to turn Dorian Brogy, then I'm sure
I mean,
that
technically, he's possessing her body. The thing
See,
is, if he
right.
keeps doing that to too many nations, people will start putting things together, and then he can't. He needs to be smart about it if he wants to keep his existence a secret.
I mean, there has to be like some kind of logical reason, right? Because we have like these kinds of thoughts all the time, like, well, why wouldn't Emu spam Mother Flame or like Uranus? Because that seems to be what it is. Well, the answer was because they didn't have Mother Flame. So like another one is like, why didn't Emu just spam Buster Calls? Well, there must be like some kind of limitations on these things.
Yeah,
So if we
yeah.
talk about why doesn't Emu use Domi Reversi on like the entire planet, there must be like some kind of straightforward reason for this to where like we look at it, we look
And-
at that solution and we're like, oh yeah, so Emu can't just spam that like a
right.
thousand.
And the one thing I want to say about grimoires, right, is that just because you read from a grimoire doesn't mean that you can activate whatever's in that grimoire. We learn this from other animes that we watch. Sometimes there are rules that has to be followed. You get what I'm saying?
I
So
agree,
that's why,
and I agree with your premise. Your main point, Nomad, is what I agree with, and it simply boils down to this. I agree with you that there needs to be rules to this crap. Emu has to
yes,
has his own limitations. He has to have
yes,
his own trade offs for doing the contracts, and most importantly, whenever these contracts were first brought up, and he started flipping people, I'm like, where's the consent? Because when you make a
yeah.
contract, you have to have consent.
Well,
So
it's probably the blood that after he's slashed. You know what I'm saying? It got probably a
yeah,
blood
he
on
took the
consent.
blood. It's in the blood.
Yeah,
It's all in the blood. All of these
yeah,
powers, the rules, the limitations, it's all in the blood.
Sure, I can
right.
agree with the limitations thing. I can agree with that. There's a reason. I just don't necessarily agree with the why don't he do it to more countries thing. Like, he needs to keep his existence a secret. You don't necessarily need to turn everyone into demons. Know what I
Hey,
mean?
what's that? What did Kenny
Okay,
G
well
say
then
on
my
that song? Sometimes you gotta pop out and show people.
right, Kendrick. Yeah. Um, but my answer to that, Terrence, is if that's the case, then why is he saying it's time for another cleansing? You know what I'm saying? It's already like he's everything is out of control to the point where now it's time for another cleansing. Things are getting out of control. Maybe his secret done got out, and now he's trying to reset everything, just like the prophecy predicted. It would happen again, right? So, and my thing is just if you have 170 what nations, right, under your jurisdiction, you could possess every last one of those kings, just like maybe you did King Harold. You know what I'm saying?
To the original 20
So,
Kings back in the day?
well, it don't grew since then. It don't
Yeah,
grew to
yeah. It's
170.
grown to over 170. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But
So if he could just
I was just going with what you were saying. Maybe Emu
See,
did dominate Reversi the original 20.
the distinction though is like
ah
the
yeah.
70, they're not considered royal bloodlines like the 20.
So only the 20 are considered the royal bloodline, but
If I'm
I
not mistaken.
I would have to disagree with that
No,
Yeah.
no,
because
no.
I
If
think
I'm,
the 20 would be considered the celestial dragons. The
yeah,
royal the royal bloodline is different from the celestial dragon bloodline. I would
that's what
say.
I meant. That's what I meant. Like when I said
Okay.
royal bloodlines, I mean like world nobles, like the ones that live in Marie Joie, like
Yeah.
they say the descendants of the gods who created the world. That's what I meant. So I think it was both of you, or maybe it was Smokey. I do like the idea that Emu Domi reverse the original 20 kings. I love that idea.
Right. Yeah, that is a good. That's what I was
Because
saying. That, yeah, that's a
because
great idea.
Lily split off for a reason. Maybe that was it. Maybe she saw Emu do the Dami Reversi.
Right. And
Well, you
that's
talk about
what
Because
made her
this is what
Alabasta.
I'm
Lily.
hypothesizing. Whatever the reason is, whatever played out, I believe Nefertari Lily was one of the very few people in Emu's life that he cared for more than using for a goal. So I believe Lily was close enough to know some of Emu's weaknesses, the way the powers worked, and maybe she told Joy Boy.
Yeah, I mean, if you read closely the officials of 1085, right, and 1086, it's interesting because Cobra and Emu were having a full discussion about poneglyphs, um, the world nobles and stuff like that, and then they start talking about Lily, and Emu still divulging a lot of information. But then the moment where Cobra says, "Oh yeah, by the way, she was a D clan member," now all of a sudden, Emu wanted to kill Cobra. So I think that the surface level is that Emu doesn't want or didn't want Cobra to know that Lily, or I'm sorry, that Vivi is a D clan member. But I think that's only the surface level. I think the problem for Emu is that there's something beneath the surface level to where because Lily was a D clan member, she knows something very, very important. And what could that information relate to besides the D clan and, you know, the obvious Joy Boy? It could be something with Emu themselves, considering.
himself. We wouldn't be surprised if Imbu is a D clan member himself, like
That's
or
that's
herself.
that's
Like
exactly what I was thinking too.
we would
That he
not
was
be
a fallen
surprised.
D clan member that was cast out.
Yeah,
It's
and
possible.
I don't know. See, the tricky thing is like,
But Emu could have
I,
started the hunt for the D clan though.
I should
So
say
like
emo
there's
is a
there's
demon.
there's a little discrepancy
like,
there.
the thing. Wait, hold on. Because the thing is like when we look at characters that could be a microcosm to the macrocosm of Emu,
Mhm.
Kingdom, Joy Boy, whatever, right?
Micro
We
Right.
being small, macro being wide, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We use
Okay.
characters like who? NL. But NL was a Birkin who tried to destroy Burka and tried to destroy Skypea. He tried to kill his own,
Exactly.
destroy
Yeah.
his
His
own.
own people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
Exactly.
won't be no. Yeah. It would make sense for Imbu to try to destroy the D clan because they're his people.
Exactly. Or even crazier, I have a whole thread about this. Maybe he was from the ancient kingdom and destroyed his own kingdom.
Do you think Emu would have been in the? See, I think I've seen that thread, but you're gonna have to correct me on the finer details of that one, Eddie. But do you think Emu was a noble for the ancient kingdom,
Yeah.
royalty,
Yes.
noble, or was
So
he
here's the
poor?
I
thing.
think it was a
So here's the thing, right? When you go to 1138, right, and you're reading the mural, it says in the first world, within the earth there was fire. Mankind succumbed to greed and touched the forbidden sun. When you read
yeah.
through Egghead, right, and you're seeing how Vegapunk's talking about the Mother Flame, he's going all out about Mother Flame. He says, and then I made my first sin. I flew too close to the sun. That kind of language is very synonymous with going back to the mural, how mankind touched the forbidden sun. And it doesn't say sun
And
God, it
flying too
says
close
sun.
to the sun
And
is the
then
story of
if you keep
Icarus.
reading, it says they touched the forbidden sun, the enslaved prayed. So you got to think like, wait, if the ancient kingdom had the forbidden sun, it had Mother Flame, why are there enslaved people? The thing is I think the reason why the ancient kingdom was so advanced and had the forbidden sun of the Mother Flame is because the ancient kingdom was actually corrupt. And it was corrupt because of
Yes.
Emu gatekeeping Mother Flame. That's why he wants it again right now. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? This is the thing that's gonna like make people's heads spin if Oda goes this direction. We assume that the ancient kingdom is good people. We just assume that like they're flawless and that were like perfect, like morally perfect, right? We only assume this because the ancient kingdom was destroyed and Joy Boy came from the ancient kingdom. But what about characters like Dragon? Dragon's a good guy. He leads the Revs, but he comes from Goa, a corrupt kingdom. So why would it be any different if Joy Boy came from this super advanced civilization, the ancient
Is that
kingdom,
movie I saw?
right? And his kingdom was corrupt. There was enslaved people praying, and then it says in the mural, the sun god appeared, which was probably Joy Boy having the Nika fruit. That's why Vegapunk in his broadcast he said, just like the legend in Elbaf, Joy Boy could stretch his arms like Nika. So it clearly means that Joy Boy had Nika powers. But to get back on topic, it could be the scenario Emu believed in like this royal bloodlines, this whole monarchy thing, this elitism worldview. Joy Boy was born in that country and he wanted to go against it, just like every other island. And we see in One Piece, all these characters, Kiros and King Riku trying to go against the corruption from Doflamingo, Cobra going against the corruption that was going to ensue from Crocodile.
That would make
All these,
sense.
Gonfall going against NL. All these things that we see in the story over and over and over again. Joy Boy could have been like that good guy trying to go against his corrupt kingdom, which would have been led by Emu, and he failed. Now Joy Boy's going to do it because of Luffy. Just like how Luffy went to Skypiea and helped Gonfall against NL. Luffy went to Alabasta, helped Cobra against Crocodile over and over and over and over and over. So I think it actually makes a lot of sense that the ancient kingdom was destroyed by its own leader, which would be Emu, because Joy Boy and his gang, the D-Clan, they weren't having it. I'm sorry for going on this whole tangent, but I think it actually works if Emu destroyed his own place just like NL did.
To help your argument, it would make sense
that makes
why.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, to help your argument, Vegapunk said that Joy Boy was the first pirate ever. You get what I'm saying? It would make sense that he pirated from his own kingdom. You get what I'm saying? It would make sense that his kingdom was not doing the right thing, or they was abusing of power and he was against it, so he left. And like you said, he went to all these different islands and met all these different races, and they tried to come back and fight Imu and lost. So that just I kind of agree with that argument, Threeville. I kind of do. But just to change gears for a second, because I want to argue a little bit. I want to turn this up a little bit. I do have some controversial takes that I want to get off.
Yeah.
What's that?
All right. How I want to start this. Yes, the ancient weapons. Oh yeah, this one I'm probably gonna end up not getting right, but for some reason there's something more that we are missing when it comes to these ancient weapons. Okay, I believe that there are 4 ancient weapons, not 3. I believe there are 4.
I've thought that before.
I don't think that's
think
all
that
that controversial.
I also think that they already made the anti-Pluton or whatever they named it. I think they already made it. They had to, I don't think you will just keep blueprints for generations on generations and no one to think just to build it. You get what I'm saying? And the reason why I think this is because in chapter 1116, that's the beginning, towards the beginning of Vegapunk's speech in Egghead, he was saying that there was an ancient weapon that hit Lelouchia, right? Right after he said that, if you pay attention to the very next panel, very next 2 panels, you see one is Momonosuke and the other is what's his name? Crocodile. All right. Momonosuke jumped up from his seat and was like, "Ah, what that means." And then his words got blurted out, right? He did not get to finish his sentence. And then the very next panel, you see Crocodile with his infamous cigar, right? And if you just pay attention to those 2 people, what ancient weapon are they tied to?
Yeah.
Both of them. They both are tied to the same ancient weapon, Pluton, right? The reason why I have always said that I think that Pluton was what destroyed Lucia and not Uranus, because I just don't think that they never talked about Uranus at all. So it's like we just trying to fill in the blank when everything Oda always give us clues, right? But he never really said nothing about Uranus, in my opinion. Just in my opinion. I could be wrong about that. All I want to say is I think that what Momonosuke was going to say in chapter 1116 was that, that means that they got Pluton. I think that what Wano has is the anti-Pluton, and what Imu has is the regular Pluton. And the reason why I talk about this is because we first learned about Pluton from Crocodile in Alabaster, right? And they always said that, oh, it was here. It was here in Alabaster, right? It was here in Alabaster. And I have the mind to believe that it was there in Alabaster. But I also have to think about how did it get to Wano, if it got to Wano, right? We really have to think about where Alabasta is and where Wano's located on the map. You have the red line separating both of these two countries. You have to get over
Not
that
really.
freaking red line. How did Pluton get over the red line, you guys?
So
The
he so
only answer
Wait, hold
is
up. Wait,
the
hold up.
only answer is it flew. Pluton can fly. It flew over the red line. It's a flying ship. It is a flying ship. That's
so
exactly what it is.
Here's the
And I
thing.
think that is what destroyed Lelusia was the flying ship. I don't think we got into Uranus yet. I think Uranus is gonna have to be in the heaven realm and somewhere in the next 50 chapters we're gonna learn about Uranus. And I think it's gonna be something separate from everything we know, and it's gonna throw everybody's thought process off whack. But if you could just think about what I'm saying, I think the answer is Pluton. I think
so
what's going
so
on is Pluton.
one so
All right,
there's
I'm
like
done.
there's a few things I want to add, right? So when you think about Skypiea, when Robin and the Straw Hats, finally took down NL, right? Robin was reading a poneglyph up in Skypiea that talked about the location of Poseidon, which was way further past the red line to where Fishman Island was. So I think like the poneglyphs that talk about locations, it doesn't have to be that like they're connected or like the ancient weapon was moved there, because we know that the former Poseidon, the former mermaid princess, she was in Fishman Island. So when Robin is in Skypiea reading about the ancient weapon Poseidon, that's not because like it was moved from Skypiea to Fishman Island. So it's like the same thing of when Robin reads a poneglyph in Alabasta about Pluton being under Wano. So that's one
Yeah,
thing.
but
There's one problem with
And
your
then hold
theory.
on, another thing, right? If we're talking about like a flying weapon, a flying ship, that should be exactly what Uranus is, because Poseidon comes from like Greek Roman mythos, tying into the ocean, tying into the seas, and that's exactly what Shirahoshi does in One Piece. And if Pluton is slumbering under Wano, then it makes sense that Pluton will be connected to Pluto, like this hell underworld kind of god. So if something's flying above Lelusia and it destroys Lelusia, I agree it would be something that would fly, but that would match the motif of Uranus.
So we got
That
Poseidon,
makes a lot more sense. And the
Shirahoshi,
last thing, right? You were
Pluton,
like
Hades,
you
or
were
the
talking
underworld.
you were talking about the blueprints. How come no one ever used it? Well, that's the thing, right? We saw how in Water 7, they always had the blueprints in Water 7, and no one from the outside was able to go into Water 7 and take those blueprints. And Tom was like the greatest like shipbuilder ever. He never made Pluton. And then finally, when someone tried to go take those blueprints to go make the anti-Pluton, Freaky takes them and he burns them. So I think like I think there's a reason why when we say the ancient weapon that destroyed Lucia was Uranus, I think that's why it's like such a straightforward answer to why it's Uranus. Now I do see what you're getting at, where it's like they're talking about the ancient weapon. I pulled up the chapter 1116 where Momo jumps up and they show Crocodile, the whole ancient weapon stuff. But I
mhm.
wouldn't say it's from a direction of hinting out Pluton. I think it's just because the last ancient weapon we were talking about in the narrative was Pluton that was slumbering under Wano. So Oda's gonna show Momonosuke. And then second to that is like one of the biggest narratives about ancient weapons, and actually the first narrative about ancient weapons was from Crocodile and Alabasta. So I would say like I see where you're coming from with like the anti-Pluton, but I don't know, I just feel like it's like a lot more like straightforward if it's Uranus. So it's like if Caribou.
See the thing about it, we really
Hold
never
up.
really had straightforward answers in with anything unless you was like really deep into the manga. But
It would
he
make sense
really
for Pluton.
always throw the curveball at you. And the reason why I wanted to point this out because yes, you're right. The poneglyph that showed Poseidon was in Skypea up in the sky. But remember, it got pushed to the sky. It was never originally there. If we put the location of back where it belonged to the location of where it originally supposed to be, it's really not that far. You get what I'm saying? It's really
No, no,
not that far.
you're right. Like Shandora was knocked up. That's 100% true. But I don't think like it has to be because like those locations were connected or like an ancient weapon was moved. I think it's and like especially in the case of Poseidon, it was more of like a prophecy kind of thing that they knew that the ancient weapon of Poseidon in the future was going to be born in Fishman Island.
Right.
But also, I gotta,
go ahead.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
gotta say, you said something about like Basta and Juan are separated by the red line. They're not.
Mhm.
They're both a part of the Grand Line because remember the New World is the second half of the Grand Line. It's all together really the Grand Line. They're not separated by the red line.
But there's a massive gap because remember Alabasta was fairly early into paradise, but Fishman Island is all the way to where the red line is sitting underneath. Like that's a very big distance. And
Yeah,
Right.
that's
And
why there's only
I
two
don't think
ways to get over the red line. You
I
either
don't
go
think
under or you go over.
No, I'm just saying he said that it had to fly over the red line because it's separated
yes,
by the red
it had
line. I'm
to.
just saying it's not though.
But
I think
it
there's a
is.
big gap. I mean, you can still that
No,
can still be
like
underwater.
the grand line has the red line perpendicular to it on both sides of it. So there's the red line on both sides of the grand line. You
yeah.
have Reverse Mountain and then you have Marie Giroir. Both of those are sitting on the red line. Both of those are basically sit at the red line. Therefore, Alabasta sits in paradise while Wano sits in the new world.
Yeah.
Those are separated by the red line, bro, my brother.
Yeah.
They're
I
not.
think you got it
No,
confused.
the
But,
red
like, the thing
line is
is, like,
separating the Grand Line from the Blue Seas.
no. What Nomad's saying
Yeah.
is correct. What he just said is 100% true. Alabasta is in so the One Piece world really is like it's like a coin. One side of the coin is paradise, and then the other side of the coin is the new world. The grand line just goes in both. It's like a line. Now, instead of like a horizontal line for the grand line, you have the red line, which is like a vertical line. So what he's saying is true, but like my thing is like I don't think
No,
that
because I remember the red line on the other side of the red line is the Blue Seas, and the other side you got the Grand Line, which is the Paradise and New World.
let me show you a One Piece globe. But look, I just want to say really quick, it's just because like a poneglyph might tell us the location of an ancient weapon, I don't think that necessarily means that like maybe they were connected or like the ancient weapon moved or anything like that. I don't think like it necessarily calls for that. Here, so
Yeah.
this is what it looks like. Let me show you. This is Nomad said it correctly. Hold on, let me pull it up right here. All right, so you see this?
I don't see anything.
Okay, right here. Cool. So the
Reloading.
red line, right?
It's still rolling, yeah.
Vertically, and the grand line's going horizontally. This side
There
of
you
the
go.
globe is paradise.
You see what I'm saying?
This side of the globe is paradise, but this side of the globe is New World.
So
Okay,
And then the
now
red
it would
line.
be the calm
Is
belt
in
that
both, and the
separates
New
them,
World is in
wouldn't
both.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, I
actually, the
must have
New
read it
World,
wrong the first time.
the Grand
Okay,
Line is
North
in
Blue,
both,
East
but the
Blue,
New World divides.
South Blue, West Blue. Okay, I got you.
The Grand Line is in both, but the Red Line divides both.
Yeah.
The Grand and Red Lines divides the 4 Blue Seas as well.
Yeah. Well, that's all I'm saying. It's perpendicular, you know, since it's
Yeah.
a perpendicular figure.
Yeah.
Um yeah, but that's okay. Uh
I do. Someone in
okay.
chat talked about how Pluton could be a whale. I actually love that because when you look at Wano, right? They had a deep connection to Zunisha, and the Mink tribe. It's pretty cool how in
Yeah.
Zoe they have this huge whale tree. It's like why a whale? And then like you know that Wano is, or I'm sorry, you think that Pluton is slumbering under Wano. It could be that Pluton has something to do with a whale. So then Zoe's like, you know what? Wano has the ancient weapon there. Let's just make this. Let's carve this big tree to look like a whale. Because we know the Kazukis from Wano and the Mink tribe from Zoe, like they were deeply connected to each other.
Yeah, they
So
were friends
a
forever.
beautiful way to
Forever.
foreshadow. And they also mentioned Laboon. They went inside Laboon, and remember they made like the metal staircases and all this metal stuff inside of Laboon.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember. There's a little waterway
Well,
that made Luffy get weak at one point before he got to the opening.
with those
Um,
connections, maybe Waboon, like in Oda's mind, maybe he was playing around with Waboon as a prototype for what he wants the weapon to look like on the inside. Because you were talking about all the infrastructure that shoot the doctor's name. What's the doctor's name? Doctor for the
Vegapunk.
Rogers. Crocus.
Oh,
Crocus.
Crocus, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
focus. Yeah,
Crocus.
focus.
I'm just saying. I think I understand what you're saying, Threeble. Like I do. There are details there that are important that I think Oda could have set a prototype for.
See, hold
So
on.
do y'all think that if Pluton is a flying whale, would that still not be
A
a
flying well?
No, I don't.
yes
I don't think. I
a
don't think.
flying whale? Because on the mirror, just on the mirror, you see the man on the whale coming down on the left side of the mirror in 1138.
Pull up the mural. Try to pull up the mural,
I'll
Threeble.
pull up the mural, but I don't think Pluton is. I don't think Pluton flies. I gotta be careful showing this because
I think he flies. I think Pluton's flies. That's
I
the hill
think
that I said
I
that I
think
want to argue about.
Uranus
I don't know. I
flies.
don't think that
Because
has
Uranus.
like
Uranus
much sense.
connects with the sky.
Yeah.
Because all of these ancient weapons are named after gods, Greek gods. Pluto, Pluton, Hades. You have Poseidon. That one's pretty obvious. Then you have Uranus, which is the
The,
lord of the
the the
sky.
Greek primordial god of the sky, yeah.
Yeah.
In that case, I was assume that Uranus would look something similar to what Enel built, if that's what you're discussing.
Yes, 100%. Because the mural actually depicts Arc Maxim on the far right zapping down, bro. That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
exactly what I believe. I think
And if you see on the left, if you see on the left hand side though, you see the whale. If you look at the top of the on the top, you'll see a whale, the only whale in the picture. You'll see someone's on the whale and it look like they're flying downward towards the black creature there that, in my
Can
opinion,
barely
probably
see
is
it.
Blackbeard.
see. I just think that I gotta be careful showing this because YouTube has just been so
Yeah.
stupid. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah,
what was that?
definitely don't take any chances, bro. We don't need you to get your another
yeah,
copyright strike.
I
Yeah.
think again when we were talking
yeah.
about how Enel is typological of Emu, I think the reason why Oda had this man Enel use the Arc Maxim is because Emu's going to have his own version of Arc Maxim, which is really just Uranus. Now, the interesting thing though is
Do
that
you not think that Uranus is a battleship? Do you not? The Art Maxim is a battleship, though.
I
Do
think
that
it's.
not look like a battleship to you?
I mean, in a way, yeah, I would say it's more like a spaceship. But I want to add this really quick. I pointed this out like literally like years ago on Twitter. If you guys go into Skypiea, right, and you look at the double page when NL is on the Arc Maxim and he's zapping the holes in Skypiea, it was the last double page of a chapter. That double page is the exact same design as when Emu destroyed the Lucia. You can see Emu's eye on like the far right side of the double page, and you can see Leloucha getting destroyed on the left. And then if you look at the double page of NL and the Arc Maxim destroying Skypiea, it is like the same kind of design. Now the
Okay.
fact that we have in the 1138 mural, we can see Arc Maxim on the far right destroying and zapping things down. You got to ask, why would Oda draw that if NL just barely made Arc Maxim 2 years ago in the One Piece world? Why is that on the mural? That must mean because someone in the past had like something that looks like the Arc Maxim,
Yeah,
right? I think that's what
NL
he
had to
Yeah.
pull the architecture for his art maxim from somewhere. He had to see
So
something similar to it.
okay, so we don't. So since Poseidon is a human being, we don't think that Uranus would be some type of human animal being type thing. because a lot of my argument stems from that
Not
point.
necessarily.
I think that since they specifically said that Pluton was a battleship, so I'm thinking of a ship, right? Or from what that Sake said that it could be a mole. I do like that idea too. I'm not even gonna cap. I love that idea. But if I'm going on my gut, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna go with what they said, a ship. So if Poseidon is a human and is considered a ancient weapon, why couldn't Uranus also be some type of animal or human considered an ancient weapon? And why couldn't only the ship be made in the same form as Pluton? Like maybe like the only big battleship we have in the in this whole anime is Pluton and the Ark down there at Noah's Ark down there in Fishman Island. Those
So,
are should be the only two biggest ships. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? If that makes any type of
So,
sense.
so
yeah,
my
I hear
thing
what you're
is like,
saying, but so what I'm thinking about, what I thought about when you said that about another ancient weapon being a human being, I know this isn't the case, but it made me think of Whitebeard, right? Whitebeard had the power to destroy the world, right? So
Right.
I don't think that's actually the case that it's a human being, but I'm just saying Whitebeard could have technically been the official fifth ancient weapon. Because his Gurren and me could have destroyed the world, like Sengoku said. Caused
the thing
tsunamis,
Yeah,
is,
earthquakes, everything.
the thing
yeah,
is
that's a
like,
valid point.
I understand what you're saying about Poseidon being a living being, but like we have to know the difference between something being a probability and something being outright true. So even though Poseidon is a living being as an ancient weapon, that doesn't automatically mean that the other ancient weapons are living. So it's more of like a because Poseidon is a living being, it's possible that the other ancient weapons are living beings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I
So
from from,
I, if
from
someone
those
if someone said to me, right, they were like, "Oh, well, Poseidon is a living being, so therefore Pluton's a living being." I don't think that would be sufficient because they would be
Yeah.
saying because one thing is possible, then this other thing must be true. Now, I don't think
No,
you.
only reason I wouldn't agree with Pluton not being a human being is because they specifically said in it that it was a battleship. That's why I wouldn't say that it's a human being. They never said that about Uranus, though. Uranus could possibly it could have that probability. But I get what you're saying. But I actually get what you're saying. It makes sense. But what I'm saying also could be true if we ain't looking straight forward at the answer. Like, oh yeah, it just has to be
I
this
mean, to
by a
me,
process of elimination. Because a lot of times we've been wrong. Like a lot of times we all believe something by process of elimination. It has been absolutely wrong. Or older seen that everybody was on it and he read content or something.
yeah, but to me, like it was confirmed that Pluton is under one. It wasn't like implied or kind of suggested. It was flat out confirmed. The living
Yeah,
weapon
because
Pluton
Robin
is
and
under
Laura
one
went
now.
and looked at it, didn't they? Or they
No,
went and
No,
looked
they
at a
didn't look
photograph.
at it. They said that it was under their sleeping. They said that yes, Pluton is under his sleeping, but no one put lay eyes on it.
see, Nomad. Here's the thing, right? Um, I'm pretty sure Dak Sake mentioned this, but you guys remember that guy that was in NL's God Army named Gadatsu? He wore the
Yeah,
purple.
Godotsu story. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
his cover
was
story.
that the one that Chopper fought?
Yeah, yeah, him.
Yeah,
So the
I
Yeah,
interesting
remember
the
thing
one
that.
that always.
in
Yeah,
that
the one with the mole. Yeah.
when Gadatsu was with the mole, right? They were
Hmm.
using the mole like a battleship, but that mole was a living being. So even though that they say Pluton is a battleship, that doesn't mean that like it depends on how you look at it, right? And Oda's the kind of guy where he might like let's say it was like a really big creature, right? Like let's just say it was a mole, right? Depending on how you look at it, you could be like, oh well, even though that's a living being, it's a battleship because it's destroying the ground, it's eating up the ground, it's digging up the ground, like how the mole did in Gadatsu's cover story. So
Right.
that's so you gotta know how to balance it out because even though they say it's a battleship, it depends on how you look at it. Plus, Oda's a troll. But then on the same hand, you can't necessarily. And Nomad wasn't saying this, but on the same hand, people can't say because Poseidon was a living thing, then Pluton has to be a living thing.
I don't know if I agree with your Mo battleship thing, but I get what you're saying though. Thankful. I think
Doesn't
that's
have
your
to be
point
a
though.
mold,
totally
but
get
it
what you're saying because you're
depending
right.
on how you
Oda
look at
is a
these.
troll. He could be
Because
using the term shit,
Exactly.
but a
That's why.
whale
That's
could
why
be
I say
a
y'all saying
shit.
it's so
You feel me?
straightforward. Y'all saying it's so straightforward, but we know that Oda trolls. We know that
Yeah.
he trolls. If we can't, if we gotta look at Battleship as possibly being something that's moving that could be used as the battleship that gets you from out of the island, like that Sake was saying. Okay, if we got to look at it that way, we got to look at it more than what a battleship is technically is, then we have to look at the ancient weapons as different too. We can't look at what they technically say they are, but just because they named after Greek gods, that okay, they have to be dealt with these type of elements for that reason. That's
I'm
what
so
I'm
dead ass.
saying. Like y'all arguing against me, but also giving me ammo to my argument because y'all saying that older trolls, and I'm telling you that the ancient weapons aren't straightforward. I'm telling you
No,
that I'm thinking there's
so
a fourth
I
I
weapon
wasn't
think
somewhere out there, and that's what Imu got.
I
no,
wasn't taking it as arguing against you. We're
no
just kind
man.
of.
I think
But
hit.
my thing is like I like with talking about like is Pluton living or not because it's a battleship. Like I
Right.
wouldn't say that taking a straightforward approach, but when we're talking about like what ancient weapon destroyed the Lucia, I feel like taking the approach that it's Uranus, even though it does come off as straightforward, like it does make
It
sense.
is. That is
Pluton,
straightforward. That's like 99% of what everyone thinks hit Lelusia is. And that's why I'm saying, if every one of y'all think it's this, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that.
yes, I don't
No
even
man.
care.
Here's the thing though.
I don't even
His
care.
eulogy
Yeah.
about
I mean, I
his
going against the
eulogy
grain,
about
brother.
like the
Go against the grain.
yeah, but
Hey, I don't even care what other people think, bro.
yeah, no
Like
man. His eulogy
people
about
think
like
what I
the
think, then that's a cool coincidence. But like I'm always trying to like make the best possible answer, the best possible prediction with the limited information we know. So I don't even know
Mhm.
like most people think that it's Uranus that destroyed Lucia. I have no
No,
idea.
I'm telling you, because I'm on every blog. Everyone thinks that what hit Lelusia was Uranus. I'm telling you right now. That's what
He's right.
everyone
That
thinks.
is the popular opinion right now. That is
yeah.
what a lot of people
I mean,
believe.
here's the thing, no man.
So what you're saying, Nomad,
His
what you're saying, what you're arguing is you're basically arguing. And correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because I don't want to
Uh-huh.
misrepresent. You're basically saying that Oda intentionally made it so obvious to the reader that Uranus destroyed Lelucia. He's making us believe that
Yes, sir.
So you're
but
saying
not.
Oda's using
Yes,
a red
sir.
herring?
That's what you're saying.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I see where you're coming
That's
from then.
exactly what he's doing. It is too obvious that it's Uranus that it can't be Uranus. That's why I found another answer. That's why I found another answer.
I feel
It's
what
too
you're saying,
I
but
obvious.
respect that. I
to
respect
me,
that. I respect
Pluton
that.
doesn't make too. Yeah, I feel
It
what you're
made too
saying, though,
much
man.
sense. It made too much sense. I
See, because
also
no man, I get lost in these kinds of things sometimes. Like it's like I love your approach. I respect it because if you can kind of put yourself in Oda's mind where he wants us to think this is the answer, but it's not, then you could get ahead of it. You could jump ahead because you're not expecting that false answer. You're gonna get with the real one. See, I
I
sometimes
mean,
I
think
have that
about this.
issue because I
Shamrock
don't
was
know the answer that I
controversial,
come
and
up
nobody thought he was going to do that. And everybody was like, "Odie, you can't be doing a clone or a copycat."
with. Wait for
And then
yeah,
what?
that's what he
you can't
did.
do twins. You can't do twins. Ain't nobody man. Come on, like he always throw that wrench in our thought process to where it
Look,
messes up everybody's great. And I mean, some of y'all be coming up with some of the greatest theories with so much evidence that it just has to be this, and it don't never be that. It don't never be that, yo. Y'all be
He
a
does
hundred
have a
percent
point
wrong.
there, Eddie. I've seen a lot of very sound theories just get thrown out the drain.
Yeah,
Yes, like real fast. Pew!
you could have a theory with zero flaws, but it just not happen.
Yeah, that's for
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
and it sounds so, and I be rooting for it. I be rooting for. I'm like, oh yeah, that just
like
makes so much sense.
like all the VV theories about like who had VV when she was missing, all that was thrown out the
Yes,
window
Come on,
when
I'll
we
leak
saw
it
she
yes.
to
was
you
with
right
it
now.
was Morgan.
Yeah,
I
no one would have guessed that.
I was
No one would have guessed that.
video right now. I was telling them, bro, they're gonna frame Sabo. Sabo didn't kidnap Vivi. They're gonna blame Sabo. Vivi actually gets away. Sabo actually got away.
Was the
Sabo
That's
reason
what
that you
live.
thought it was
the
Morgan,
theories. All the
Eddie?
theories
Was the
was
reason
either she
because he
was
had the
with
ship that
Sabo.
could fly? Was that why you thought he had her? Because
Wait, what?
geographically, it made a lot of sense.
For what?
Say that again.
For Big News Morgans to have Vivi was the reason that you thought it not only because of the narrative, the way the narrative was going, or was it for the simple fact that he had a flying ship, and that conveniently
I'm
makes
not gonna
everything good
I'm not.
geography.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember like scarce details because I put that video out so long ago, bro. But
Now
for me, I don't even remember.
you can see the blimp. You can see the blimp in one of the panels. Before before Vivi actually got with Morgan's, you saw the blimp in one of the panels. So I think that's what you referring to. Like that could have been the clue that helped you figure out that nah, she probably went with Morgan's because he's in the area and he has a flying ship.
Yeah,
I
I mean
I was
everybody.
focusing more on Sabo. I was trying to tell people in the you guys can go find the video. Someone in the chat go find the video for my channel, the original channel. I felt like it was so obvious that the world government was gonna try to spin a narrative against the Revs, saying that he kidnapped her and that they're trying to blame him and it wasn't actually him and he would save her and because they're always gonna do that. They've been doing that since Alabasta, trying to think
Right.
that he was a villain and Smoker saved them and
I also think Garp didn't do nothing during God Valley either. I think they made that story to make
Now
him look good.
that okay, so you want to argue now for real, for real?
Oh yeah, now that I
I
definitely don't
told you
agree with.
I got theories, my guy. All I do is sit here and listen to everybody and come up with my own things. I have theories. Garp didn't do shit during God Valley. He got his ass whipped, and the picture we saw was him when he finally got up from off the ground from getting his ass whipped. That's what happened.
that's wild, bro.
I can't say I agree, but I enjoyed the enthusiasm.
Right, I definitely don't agree, but yeah, I mean, hey,
Yo, Terrence is like the
Why
skeptic.
why would y'all agree? We know how strong he is now, but old age make you stronger.
okay, definitely,
Oda did say that.
that's definitely not true.
Oda said that, bro.
Oda did say that. Oda did say that. He did say, as you get older, you don't lose your strength, but you do lose the other key elements: stamina, speed. I mean, you do, and
Stamina.
naturally, you do get
That's
slow.
really all you lose is stamina and the will to want to.
He did. He said you don't lose your strength. He didn't necessarily say
He said he wanted the
you get
old guys
stronger.
to be really cool and really strong. That's why Whitebeard was as strong as he was. What was he like? 80?
Yeah, Oda loves the old guys. He loves his old guys.
I don't know. I
Hmm.
mean, he's quick to show that age affects them in many different ways, like the sickness, like the stamina, in many different ways.
Hmm. So I have another question, but I also have another theory. This question has something to do with God Valley. Who you think? Do you really think it was a 2-on-1 against Ross, or do you think Ross actually had help from someone as he
I
was
mean, we know
fighting?
his whole crew was there,
His
and then
crew.
like, yeah. And we know that
Go ahead.
Garp had his Marine soldiers, and Rocks. I mean, Roger had his crew.
Garp had Bogard. He already had that all wrapped up. He had the invincible
Bro, this man
Bogard.
said
Okay.
Bo.
Bogart, the Visible Man.
Yeah, speaking of Bogart and Garp, and training and stuff, Nomad, and then Smokey, I don't think you really answered this earlier. What do y'all think about Roku Shiki compared to other martial arts on this show?
Like Fishman Karate, for example,
Yeah,
compared
for
to
sure,
that.
correct. Yeah, for
I
sure, karate
think
or
I think me
What I think about it?
personally, since we would be if I was in the One Piece world, me personally, I would want to know Fishman Karate. Because
Me
the
too.
essence of Fishman Karate comes from water. And what is Devil Fruit's biggest weakness? Water.
true. I mean, technically, it's more so like the body, the sea itself. If you it keeps you from swimming, but I see what you're saying. Like to me,
Like if I can do a water shark or shark arrows like Horty Jones or Jinbei, I'm good.
right. I mean, you got all these useful martial arts like Sanji's black leg style, and you got like that whole style that
Yeah, Sanji when he was with
Don Chinjao knows.
Ivankov, he was learning was it New Karma Kempo?
Yeah, Newcomer
That's
Kimpo. Yeah.
yeah, New Karma Kempo. And that's what Bon Clay
Wait,
uses.
who?
No, I don't know if he was learning it, but he was fighting against it.
What?
He was fighting against it. He saw the martial arts. So
Wait.
knowing
You said
Sanji how talented he is, he could probably do it if you wanted.
new comma Kimpo. What?
Newcomer Kimpo. That's a
That's
the
the fighting style that Ivankov
yeah, that
remember when
Ivankov
Ivankov
knows.
said, I'm gonna give
The training
these
kit.
things that you need to go find to these important people on the island, and every master Sanji ran around to had to try to find, he had to fight them to get the item.
True.
I do not remember that.
You don't remember Ivankov on Marineford doing all that
Now,
Newcomer Kimpo
listen,
stuff?
a lot of this
I
could be
just
anime
remember
Oh,
filler
yeah,
because I don't
Luffy.
recall the chapters either.
yeah, the stuff we taught Sanji.
This
The
could
only
be
thing I
anime
remember about
filler
Ivankov
only.
was saving Luffy, bro.
Really? You don't remember like the little fight he had, this little skirfish he had with Akainu, and he was doing like some Newcomer Kimpo moves.
I
It,
do
it
not.
was a good. Those were like some goofy moves, but like he still did it.
All right,
Yeah.
yo, boys, we're gonna be here. Let's say another 10 minutes. So if there's any last predictions for 11:54, theories, hot takes, whatever it is,
Okay,
now
I
would
got
be a good.
one. Uh,
I gotta say, Terrence had the right idea, man. You should be laying down while you're doing this.
Yeah. Hey,
Terrence got the right idea.
I was
yeah, I'm
tired.
outside. It's hot.
Yo, can I take back in?
Got you, Vincent.
Well, I did want to say, I wanted to just get this off my chest. I wanted to say,
You.
I think that what's going on, brother?
Not
I
much,
think
man.
that I found out who Frankie's dad is,
Who?
A
and
lot of
it's who
people think
y'all
it's
just was
Queen.
referring to.
A lot of
His
people
dad
think
is
it's Queen.
Ivankov.
What?
His dad
Ivankov?
is Ivankov. His dad, once again, is Ivankov. And I only need one proof of
What?
evidence. I only have one proof of evidence to show you guys. In the
One proof?
episode on Kuma's flashback, right?
Yeah.
When we first seen Jenny and we first seen Ivankov for the first time at 16 years old. Please tell me, do y'all remember what did she look like in the stance that she got into? Do y'all remember that? And who
Oh, I
is
remember
the
that. I
epitome?
remember that.
Who is the epitome of that same exact style? That is Frankie all day long. That is his dad. That is his dad.
Okay. I
Sounds like
mean,
Frankie's a super
that's
queer.
crazy.
Wait,
What
so
his dad? I mean, then look at the eyeliner. They both
Pose?
wear eyeliner.
Ivankov got in the super pose?
I thought you were going to say he was like
Yes.
Bon Clay's dad.
Right? Like
Nah, not
Frankie's
Bun Clay. He's Frankie's dad.
wow.
That he left to join the freaking
Does that also mean he's
rebels.
his mom because he can change between two genders?
I'm pretty sure that Ivankov considers himself a man.
No, he is, but
Oh,
he has that
this is
whole
the wildest
gender
theory I've ever
change
heard.
Yeah,
thing.
I know he could go in between, but I think he's a man, and
Oh,
therefore
he
he can have
is.
kids. He can have
It's not a
kids.
thing. He definitely is, but
Do you think
uh,
Crocodile is a woman too?
Yo, I'll end the stream right now.
All right,
I,
same subject then.
I have
you
seen
said it before I was about to say I'm about to conk out and go to sleep.
those are one of those theories that are 99% have an answer to, but until Oda says something, it's just gonna always be inferred. We never really
for
gonna know
sure.
the real answer. But
Yeah,
we all know what we think,
All
and
right,
that's
let
that's
me tell
exactly
you
why I
this.
say Oda
Eddie
I
trolls.
said he
got a
would drop
theory.
One Piece. I think if something happened, I will drop One Piece if Croco Mom's theories comes true. I will
Oh my
drop it.
god.
I'll
No
never
one
forget.
wants Mama Croc.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got a theory. I got one last theory to drop, and it's about Loki. You know, I think that I actually had a theory. I've said it on a few other people's channels. That this fruit is the sun fruit, the actual sun fruit,
Like a Logia type
like a cosmic Logia. Like you know how like the
celestial Logia. Actually, it makes
like
sense.
you know like the zones have the ancient zones and the mythical zones, and you know the paramecia has the special paramecia.
So a
I
new
think that
class of
like the
zo-
super
so a
class of
new class of
Logia,
the Logias?
huh?
A new class of Logias?
Yeah, like cosmic Logias.
Cosmic.
Yeah, and I
Wow.
think he has the sun fruit.
Wait,
Who would that be compared to? Like who else would have this cosmic type of fruit?
Emu.
Maybe Fujitoro, since he
I'm
controls
not sure.
gravity.
Fujitora?
Why isn't Fuji? Oh, I was gonna say why isn't Fujitora a Logia, but like that wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
do
He
we
yeah.
got like
think do we
gravity
think
or something.
Fujitora actually ate the fruit, or did he give it to the sword? Because that's a popular opinion too.
I
That
never
Because
heard of that
we
before.
seen him
Fujitora
control
fed
gravity
his
when the
devil
sword was
fruit to the
sheathed,
sword.
so
I
I
mean,
would assume
here's
it's
the
him.
thing. Like, I know he can feed devil fruits to weapons, but so far, from what I've seen, we only Zoan
We've always
fruit can
seen
eat.
Humphrey. We've always seen Spondam's sword, the
Yeah, that's what I'm
elephant.
saying. And it
And
was
the
a
dog
Zoan.
that was in with Baroque Works.
Oh yeah, with
I, I I think I'm under the impression that Loki didn't eat a fruit and he's just taking the blame for everything, and that's why he don't want to talk about the story. That's why it's so hard for him to talk about because he's
So
gonna have to
what
admit
do you
that
think the
he didn't eat
legendary
nothing.
fruit of Albath is? If he didn't eat it and he's holding it, what do you think it
Nika
is?
fruit. That's why. That's
I'm
why. That's why Shanks was chasing them,
I
bro.
think
Yeah,
I
that's a
think it.
popular
I'm
theory. Eddie's
standing
right. The
by
Nika
my
fruit. It's a
sun fruit
possibility.
theory.
See, so Nomad, I didn't even think of it like that. That's an interesting way of thinking of it because you just said if he didn't have the fruit, he's gonna have to admit he never even ate a fruit, and he doesn't want to have to
yes,
go explain that.
I mean, I
So
don't think he really needs to have a fruit anyway. I mean, he has Ragnir. That thing can shoot out lightning every time he slams the
exactly.
hammer down.
so
Plus,
Plus,
He
he's a
doesn't need a fruit,
giant.
and if it works like
he,
Mjolnir, he could use it to
so
fly through the air.
you tied
and he
you tied
probably has life return too as well.
you tied two things together because we end up saying that Loki didn't actually kill Harold. It was the people that killed Harold. And Loki didn't
Right?
actually eat the fruit because he didn't eat the fruit at all. That fruit went away, and then Luffy ended up having it. That's why it was a legendary devil fruit passed
Yeah,
down in Elbaf. That's why they worship the sun god.
And I think Loki
yeah.
actually went out to sea to go look
Because
for the fruit
we at the
himself.
end of
That's
the
why he spent all those years at sea.
Eddie,
I
right.
say
We
correct
at
me if
the
I'm wrong,
end. We
Eddie.
at the end of the story, you guys. So the loopholes has to start being tied back together. I really do think the legendary fruit that was stolen was the sun god Nika fruit, and Loki is lying about it to cover up for his father who was possessed by demons. Even though he already known that he was working with the government, he did not know that he got possessed by a devil. That's where the
Or,
difference lies at,
or it could
I
be
and he had
him
to
say
covering
Correct
kill.
up
me if
for.
I'm wrong, Eddie. When the story talks about the legendary devil fruit of Alabath and being passed down through the generations, it never explicitly says that the kings of each generation ate the fruit.
No.
Right,
It only
right.
was
They
passed
just
down.
held on to it.
I originally thought Harold did
here's the
eat the
thing.
fruit in
I think
chapter
that he
1152.
Yeah, me too, Vincent. I thought that was a possibility too. And then
What?
we got the spoilers like the next day, and then I was like, oh, never mind.
I'm standing by that he did eat the fruit and that it's the sun fruit. And he has a
And
cosmic
that
Logia.
did his heart turn into the fruit before Luffy ate it? And did it shrink? Other
See,
like it shrunk a lot in that time?
one thing I want to add real quick, because I know a lot of the Japanese readers are talking about this. Ragnir is this whole electricity kind of weapon, and people like Hiruden weren't even able to wield it. So a lot of Japanese fans are wondering, like, is there something made of rubber? Is there some kind of rubber attribute to Loki? Because why is he able to use this lightning hammer? All the Japanese fans are talking about this.
I mean
Hmm.
that's a
Mm.
popular thing with Thor because let's be honest, this version of
Whosoever
Loki is
wields this
basically
hammer will be imbued with the powers of Thor. It
yeah,
doesn't
basically
exactly have to be Thor. You just have to be
Yes.
worthy.
So what if the
Thor
hammer
wasn't the
itself
only
is
one
the
that
devil
held the
fruit?
hammer.
yeah, but hold on, like I was saying, like basically, you know, this version of Loki is not just based off the mythical Loki. He's basically a culmination of both Loki and Thor.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
And a bit
100%.
Odin with the
He,
eyes.
I agree. He's a
Right.
Yeah, so
combination of Loki and Thor.
Yeah, so it's
I
like
agree.
so it's like an enchantment. Like you have to be worthy, or only a select few can hold this hammer.
That's why I don't think he needed a fruit. He didn't need a fruit. His eyes, the fact that he could wield that weapon, I'm sure that he could subjugate people just by looking at them, just like we kind of predicted that his eyes had some type of subjugation effect to why
Loki
that's
got
why
that
he keeps them
aura
covered.
fruit.
Or a
Well, I
That
babe.
mean, when
aura
you're
makes you a babe.
67 meters tall, you kind of get that intimidation factor anyway.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, I'm sure he has incredibly powerful hockey plus, this weapon. I see what you're saying.
If there
Yeah,
was a,
that's
if the
right.
next chapter has baby Loki conquers hockey,
He has advanced conquerors, bro.
He
I'll
had to
tell you
have
that.
He
something.
100%.
If
Loki
he
has
killing bears
conquerors
on
hockey.
like if we
Airbell, he
get,
had to have something.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I'm
saying, if
saying
we
he has
get
the
baby
advanced
Loki
conquerors. The
conquers
question
right
is,
there, knocks everyone out.
Loki has that.
Mhm.
Yeah, Loki definitely. I would
I
say
just
so.
want my cosmic Logia theory to be true, so I'm gonna stick. But
It could be another mythical Zoa like a dragon.
Listen, I gotta head out. I gotta go. But hey, boys, it's been a lot of fun. We're gonna do this every break week. I want to thank everybody for being here.
Mhm.
If there's any last goodbyes, Vincent, Smokey, Terrence, and Nomad want to say, feel free to let the chat hear it.
Okay,
I'm
yo,
gonna start
so
a channel, you guys. Follow me. You'll see it.
right,
No man sharing eventually.
it's your boy
Talking a
Terrence.
lot of trash. And it's gonna be backed up with facts. Let's go.
That's what's
Hey,
up.
Nomad, let me know when you actually do start it, and I'll promote it.
All right, y'all.
Okay.
Okay, y'all can find me on T_Matthews100 on Instagram. Follow your boy. Like the post. Do what you gotta do. I might be starting a YouTube channel of my own, and then also, he man Chestnut. If y'all here, hi. It's your boy Terrence. I got nothing but love and respect for y'all ladies.
Yes, big respect for you
uh,
too.
Y'all know where to find me. You can find me on the couch, probably with a bong somewhere. And I'll be outside trying to find my Ripley and Robin, just trying to live up to the name. Ain't
Or
making
if he
no
finds
channel.
his Angie instead,
You like them giants, huh?
Yeah.
Uh,
them
You
big
gotta climb
girls.
the trees, brother.
You gotta try. Nothing
You gotta
Yeah.
climb.
But now
wrong with
that
that.
Gabon's been confirmed as the navigator, you can find your way there easier.
All right, Vincent, you're the last one up.
uh,
No, I'm good, bro.
You good?
Yeah,
Flag in the bag.
I'm just chilling here with my dogs.
Look like yeah, work.
Later.
All right, everyone have a beautiful, blessed morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are. We're gonna be back again, 11:54. Short summary, long summary, chapter reaction. Thank you all for being here. May God protect all of you, love you guys, nurture you, protect you, and guide you guys. I'm excited for 11:54. Hopefully, we get 3 chapters in a row. Have a beautiful morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are, chat. Peace.
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 If the world hates you, just remember that it has hated me first. If you belong to the world, then the world would love you as its own. But I chose you from this world, and you do not belong to it. That is why the world hates you. Whoever hates me, hates my Father also. They would not have been guilty of sin if I had not done among them the things that no one else ever did. As it is, they have seen what I did, and they hate both me and my Father. They hated me for no reason at all.